Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, streaming, and it's Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations for making it through to the end of another week. May you have glorious Super Bowl parties ahead of you in your future for this weekend as we watch the Cincinnati Bengals take home their first Lombardi trophy, right? Right, thinks I'm jinxing it now. I'm not alone here today. Joining me over here is Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today?
You know what, John? I have to say that I would love to see Rayora do whatever he would do if the Bengals win. I don't know if he's going to dance in the golf course.
I think it would be a little bit more...
streaking?
No, I would just probably have my face in the carpet, just sobbing and weeping like a
It probably would. It almost did that just when they won the last game.
Can you make a video if that happens?
No, I won't do that.
Because I would get a lot of views.
By the way, also sitting here, of course, is the Cincinnati Bengal cheering this weekend, Rayora.
You know, there was a little news story I ran into yesterday, and it appears that the Cincinnati schools are actually off the next day on Monday because they feel that they need the day off because
from all the emotional,
from winning the Super Bowl.
Right.
And I was like, I did not want to hear that. Come on.
You think
it's
everything
just football.
jinxes
Come on.
everything.
Education is more important than football.
Oh, hey, listen, no doubt. But I remember when Canada, this is going back a ways. I can't remember if it was a Canada Cup. I think it was a Canada Cup. That was when that was the World Cup for hockey, basically, at the time. And Canada was in the finals, and they gave the school the day off.
Oh, okay, well.
And that's
Canada is like, you know,
that's a whole country
it's
thing.
It's teamwork, it's skill sets. I mean, I think a well-oiled machine like a great football team like this year's Cincinnati Bengals has a lot to teach the youth of America, Ray.
All right, well, we also got somebody sitting over here who's, of course, going to give us her in-depth analysis and breakdown and predictions of this weekend's Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely.
Chris Carr.
There's going to be mac and cheese and nachos because I'm hosting the Super Bowl party.
Really?
No sense.
Hey.
I have a really nice place, that's why. But I'm just making food and then telling everyone that I won't bother them while the game's on.
And I will be watching the game this weekend. Whatever you guys are doing, I hope you have a fabulous time this weekend doing whatever it is you're going to do to celebrate the Super Bowl. Listen, guys, there is a lot of things to talk about here today. Want to remind you, though, that if you need your daily fix of the John Campea Show, but you can't be in front of a YouTube video, good news. There's an audio-only version of the show in case you're commuting or jogging or at work or whatever. We call it the John Campea Show podcast. How original. It's there on all your favorite podcasting apps of choice. Just search for it and subscribe to it today. So it'll be there when you need it. Also, want to let you guys know about something. This is a little bit of an oops on my part, but I'll let you know what's going on anyway. So you guys who follow me might remember that, I can't remember how long ago it was now, but a number of months ago. I was a guest on the Designing Hollywood podcast. Now, Designing Hollywood is the brainchild of Martika Ibarra and Marilyn Vance. Marilyn Vance is an iconic,
legendary,
literally legendary Hollywood designer. I mean, everything she did the costume design for
Die Hard,
Pretty Woman, and of course for me and tons of others. But for me, the important one that she did was Mystery Men. That was the thing for me. But anyway, they have had a show online for a while called Designing Hollywood, and they called me up, asked me if I would be a guest of theirs, and I did that. And that was a lot of fun, and got to know them, and it was great. And we even talked about, we had some discussions about asking me to get involved with the show overall. Anyway, fast forward, I'm having my housewarming party. Robert Meyer Burnett is here, and we invite Martika and her husband Vic over as well. And Rob and Martika meet. And so they started getting Rob to do some hosting on the Designing Hollywood podcast. Now, just so you know, Designing Hollywood podcast, Rob, just very briefly and quickly, how would you describe the Designing Hollywood podcast?
Well, it originally focused on costume designers and their backgrounds and the work that they had done on very prestigious films. I mean, Martika and Marilyn get the best costume designers in the business. Academy Award winners, incredible guests. And, it's very specific, but fascinating stuff. And Martika and Marilyn, they had cast a wider net, so they're starting to get production designers, and they're getting directors of photography. I'm sure I'm going to be talking to the creator of Entourage this weekend, which I can't believe, Doug Allen. And it's just incredible. And the people they're getting are A-list. And as you point out what we did today.
Well, yeah. So what happened was Martika and I started discussing about maybe it'd be really good if I did get involved, and maybe we start hosting the Designing Hollywood podcast or show on the John Campea YouTube channel.
You have such a much bigger subscription base.
Yeah, so we have a larger
worldwide.
reach, and you know, our audience is, while we love our comic book movies and that stuff, we've got an audience that is very astute when it comes to film and loving film and wanting to know about film. And so we started discussing things and thought maybe this would be a really good fit. So last night we put up the first episode that's going to be on our channel of the Designing Hollywood podcast. It is a Nightmare Alley episode with the costume designer of Nightmare Alley, the production designer of Nightmare Alley, and the cinematographer of Nightmare Alley. All three of them, if I'm not mistaken, have been nominated for Academy Awards this year for their work on this thing.
Yes, sir.
And Robert conducts the interview. Robert does an excellent job interviewing these folks. And that is now up on our YouTube channel. You'll find it on the front page of the channel. And we are thrilled that we are now going to be the home of the Designing Hollywood podcast on our show. And we're going to work really hard with them, and it's going to be great. So, Rob, what do you think about the move over here?
Well, first of all, John, I can't thank you enough, because having a wide reach, we've been doing these podcasts, and I've been talking to these people that sometimes I think I'm not worthy. I'm like Wayne from Wayne's World, you know, and I'm talking to the best in the business. And I think while we celebrate comic book movies and we celebrate Star Wars and we celebrate all the big films that come out from studios, you know, there is the art form as well. And for me, I think it's important to examine that, and you've given us an opportunity to put these very talented people to hear their voice in a much larger arena, a larger venue, and people around the world that might not have known about this podcast will because of you. So thank you so much.
So guys, yeah, every week we're going to be dropping new episodes of that on the channel, of course, with Martika and legendary Marilyn Vance working on it. It's such an honor, and you're going to see like the best people who make movies on this show. So once again, the first episode that's going to be on the John Campea channel is now up. It is the Nightmare Alley centric one. You can go and find it and watch it there. And we look forward to having many, many more. Anyway, guys, with that down, let's get things kicked off here, shall we, with an off the top. And our first off the top is this. You know, I love when there's a movie that comes out or is coming that I don't really have a lot of interest in. Maybe it doesn't look all that good to me, but then I see it and I really enjoy it. Sonic the Hedgehog was one of those. I really didn't have much interest in that. I didn't think it was going to be very good. I mean, it's another video game thing. I didn't think the trailers looked all that cute.
And then they went back and changed the design.
They changed the design, which I didn't even think it was necessary to do it. I don't think it changed the movie that much.
The human teeth. Why?
It definitely looked better. I mean, it looked better. For sure it looked better, no doubt. But then I watched Sonic. And I'll be damned. I am charmed. I am charmed by this movie. It was just, first of all, Marsden.
James Marsden.
James Marsden, who of course will always be Cyclops to me. But I've always liked him a lot, and his chemistry with John Ralphio. I know Ben Schwartz, but he'll always just be John Ralphio to me. Doing the voice of Sonic was great, and I had a really good time. I didn't think the movie was like amazing, but it was so much better than I thought it would be, and I really enjoyed it. Well, they've got the second one coming. We've seen some stuff for it, but now there is actually a brand new pre-Super Bowl spot that they have dropped online first. So they've saved themselves a little bit of money by not playing this during the actual Super Bowl, but it's going to play before the Super Bowl. And I'll tell you, there's some pretty cool stuff in this, including, I got to bring this thing up here. This, the Dr. Robotnik giant transformer kaiju robot monster.
Yes.
I saw that and I really should hate it. I should absolutely hate it.
Every movie's made better with one of those.
I should think this looks absolutely dumb and ridiculous, but I saw it and I smiled. I thought this looks really good. Obviously, we get more Tails, we get more Knuckles, and all that kind of stuff. Chris, did you have a chance to check out the trailer? And what did you think of the first one, and what's your anticipation like for this one?
I loved the first one. Ben Schwartz makes everything better. That is my celebrity crush. I think he's so adorable and talented. I loved the Sonic games. I think it's such a fun version of those that's come to screen really, really well. Bringing in Knuckles and Tails, and bringing in the voice actress who is responsible for Tails, not bringing us a celebrity, giving us that actual voice actress who's done the games, makes me so happy. That kaiju looks amazing, and that's what I want. I want weird Robotnik robots. And I'm so glad he's finally got his stash and everything like we saw at the end of the movie. And
I'm hyped. he looks so good. I mean, then listen, Jim Carrey, honestly, I think he's like 53% of the reason that movie worked so well in the first one.
Yeah.
He crushes it. I can't wait to see him return. Rob, you saw, what did you think about it?
I gotta say, look, would I like an Onimusha or a Devil May Cry or a Metroid Prime movie first? Yes. But if you're gonna go back to classic video game characters, Sonic proved itself, or itself, what would you call Sonic?
Itself
proved that there's a viable franchise there. And I have to say, like you, John, I had no interest in Sonic the Hedgehog, and it took me, honestly, a while to see it. But I liked it, too. I was like, this is fun. I'm like, this is fun. This movie looks even more fun to me for various obvious reasons. And I will watch it. I mean, like you said, Jim Carrey, I loved Ace Ventura. I like Jim Carrey in full-on Jim Carrey mode. And I'm looking forward to it.
Ray, did you have a chance? First, I know you watched the original movie, right?
Yep.
What did you think about it, and have you been looking forward to this?
The first movie was like a complete surprise to me.
I think for most of us, yeah.
But I
sleep?
did enjoy it. I actually watched it twice,
No.
but both times were at home. So,
well, yeah, okay.
so you know, I don't know what to say about
Naps.
you know what, Knuckles, and now that you pointed out that robot, I'm totally in. And I like I said yesterday, all we're gonna see during the Super Bowl is Doritos commercials, Geico, Liberty Mutual. We're not gonna see any movie like trailers.
Really?
Just because look how many are dropping before.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just not a good way to spend money. You could spend that money on your movies, your actual product.
now wait a sec. Here's the flip side of that coin, though. The Super Bowl is the #1 most watched television thing of the. No other audience on television will be bigger than the Super Bowl, and a lot of those Super Bowl viewers may not be big time movie fans. That is a key place to drop a piece of marketing for a movie, because all those eyeballs are on it. Because here's the thing: you drop it online, great, it's good. That's going to have a big effect. But it's also mostly going to be reaching the people who are already kind of interested in it.
Yeah.
Right? You put it on the Super Bowl, where you got all those eyeballs on it. I mean, that's why a lot of the highest record-breaking trailers were ones that played during like an NFL game or something like that. But it is so expensive to do it at the Super Bowl that it could be argued that it might be wiser to either just drop it before the game starts or just drop it online at the same time as the game.
But at the same time, like, word of mouth, I think, is just as strong as a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah.
Like if a trailer is really, really like being watched by a lot of people will talk about it. I don't know. It's just the money.
Depends on the circles.
The amount of money that you're talking about to me, because I'll never see that amount of money. It's just way too big. I think it could go to a lot better places than just one ad, 30-second spot during the
And
Super Bowl.
that is the conundrum they face when they have to make that decision. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this Sonic? Maybe you didn't even like the first one or don't care about it, never watch it. Maybe you did and you enjoyed it. If so, what did you think about this new spot? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's do another off the top, shall we? And this one's surprising to me. That is this. One of the better films of the last number of years that has come out was Denis Villeneuve's Blade Runner 2049. Now, to the chagrin of many of my friends, including Rob, I am not a Blade Runner fan. Yep, shock and awe. I'm the only person I know in my circles that I don't like the original Blade Runner. I've tried. I've made myself rewatch it a few times to try to so I could join the cool kids and like it, but it never worked for me for whatever reason, right? I loved Blade Runner 2049 though. Blade Runner 2049 was fantastic and beautifully crafted, and one of the worst marketed films I've ever seen. Maybe not quite as bad as John Carter of Mars. Maybe not quite as bad as Kill, Die, Repeat, Infinity, Days of Tomorrow, the Tom Cruise movie. Maybe not quite as bad as that one, but it's one of the worst marketed movies ever. And it financially flopped. It was awesome. Everybody who saw it loved it, but nobody saw it. And that was the problem, and it financially flopped. So we all felt pretty good saying, yeah, they're probably never going to do another one of these. Well, that's kind of not true, because news has now come out that they are indeed doing a sequel series to Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. and it is going to be called Blade Runner 2099. It is a live-action sequel series from Ridley Scott and the folks behind it, and they're working with Amazon to do it. This comes to us from the folks over at Deadline. The Replicants are heading to the small screen as Amazon Studios has put a live-action series set in the Blade Runner universe into development. Ridley Scott, who directed the original 1982 Blade Runner movie, is executive producing the series Blade Runner 2099, a follow-up to the feature film sequel Blade Runner 2049, which was released in 2017 and directed by Denis Villeneuve. So that's what we've got here right now, that we've got a series coming on Blade Runner. I'm of two minds on this. My first thought is, I love Blade Runner 2049. Awesome. And Amazon is kind of crushing it with their series lately, and what they might be able to bring to this could be very cool. On the other hand, I think if I was an executive at Amazon, there's no way I greenlight this. I mean, just when you looked at how big of a financial flop the previous one was, is there actually a desire and hunger out there outside of the people who already watch those movies? Is there? And I'm not really sure that there is. But I'll tell you this, if they spend even a quarter of the money that they're spending on Lord of the Rings on this thing,
Yeah.
because you're going to do this, you're going to have to spend some money. Because this is even 50 years after the events of 2049. So you're going to have to spend some money. So I don't know. Let's just say I'm very, very interested about this. Rob, you are a big Blade Runner fan.
I am.
You love this world. What do you think about the sounds of this?
Well, I have to say, I so much love this world. I even contributed, I have to give a shout out. I contributed, there was a book that came out called The Cyberpunk Nexus, examining the Blade Runner universe, and I contributed an essay to that book. You can get it on Kindle or buy the hard copy from Amazon. I'm a huge fan of Blade Runner. I love, like you, John, 2049. I was mesmerized. I went and saw it on a Tuesday at the Chinese in IMAX. I think I was the only person in the theater, like maybe me and two other people. It was one of the most transportive theatrical experiences I've ever had. The sound mix was amazing. While I didn't think it was perfect, I loved it. And, it was a staggering achievement. And I think that I'm excited for this because I think the universe is rich to be explored. There's an anime series that was on Crunchyroll last year, Black Lotus, right?
Yeah.
That was interesting. It took place in the 2020s. And I got to be honest, I'm really looking forward to this. I don't understand why they're not doing it for HBO Max. Maybe because Warner Brothers knows better. Because, Amazon will make it because Jeff Bezos was like, but I love it. Let's make it anyway. So
he's got the money to do that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm not going to lie.
Chris, what about you? I mean, this is a movie that, while loved, was not viewed. And now they're
I
moving
was
forward
one of
the
those
series.
who didn't view it, where I was like, oh yeah, there was a new Blade Runner.
What do you think about this decision to do a series?
I mean, I'm with you though, in that if it's going to go to someone, Amazon apparently has money to burn. They're just throwing it. So why not give it to something that needs this really, really high tech, lovely visual kind of funding, So I think Amazon could do a really great job with it. I am just confused as to why it's happening since, I haven't thought about Blade Runner since I didn't see it.
John, there is an upside to Amazon doing a Blade Runner show.
And what's that?
It's definitely going to cost less than Lord of the Rings.
I mean,
That's
it can't cost. Like I said, this is the thing. Wrap your heads around this. Even if they spend one quarter on this Blade Runner series that they're spending on the Lord of the Rings series, it'll still be a top 5 most expensive show ever made.
Yeah.
Wrap your heads around this. Even if they spend one quarter of what they're spending on the Lord of the Rings series on this, it'll still be a top 5 most expensive show ever made. I mean, these are like numbers that are just like ridiculous to try to comprehend. Now, here's another big question. Are they going to say Ryan Gosling, both good Canadian Ryans. Are they going to try to get Ryan Gosling back? Maybe age him up a little bit, or maybe replicant him, or
they can just make another one.
That's what I say. Just make. I mean,
make another Gosling.
Detective K will be Detective H or M or Z.
So it's really curious what they're going to do. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this news that Amazon is going to be doing a Blade Runner series that is a direct sequel to Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. It's going to be called Blade Runner 2099. It's interesting. Look, I'm going to watch it for sure. I still don't know if it was wise to make it. How are you guys feeling about it? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's do one more off the top. And this is a pretty big one. A lot of people have been lamenting lately about why are we not seeing more? We got these 4 big DC films coming out this year, right? Theatrically. We've got Batman, or The Batman, forgive me. We got Flash, Flashpoint. We've got Black Adam, and we've got Aquaman 2. And we haven't really seen a lot. Even at that frickin' DC fandom, they barely touched on anything. And it's kind of a little bit in the mist. Well, today, out of nowhere, like an RKO, coming out of nowhere, DC dropped a 1-minute preview of their 4 upcoming DC films coming. And I will tell you what, this preview looked awesome. Hawkman looks awesome. Dr. Fate looks awesome. Dr. Fate sounds awesome with that Pierce Brosnan, like getting a little more raspy. Oh my God, that sounded so good. I thought the Aquaman shots look good. The Flash shots look good. This little 1-minute preview highlighting the Batman, Flash, Black Adam, Aquaman 2. It just looked great. Again, right here, I've got the shot of the Hawkman up there. That is some pretty sweet. Listen, a warrior with wings. Hey, Lucifer did that. Hundreds of things have done that. This looks great. This looks really great. And then, of course, you get down into the thing itself. A few things, even the stuff from the Batman they showed is stuff that we haven't really seen before. I love this shot from Black Adam, the thing behind him. I was a little bit curious the first time I watched it through. Who's the guy standing behind him? At first, I thought it was Shazam. I thought, because just when it was playing through one, because I see the shine on his chest, I thought that might have been a lightning bolt. When I paused the video, it's like, oh, well, that's clearly Hawkman, that Black Adam's talking to. So that looked pretty good. They got some pretty sweet shots of Flash getting kind of a new look at the thing going through. By the way, I'm not a big fan of high-tech suits on traditional superheroes, like other than Iron Man, who's always high-tech. But still, I thought this looked pretty good. And then where's that? Oh, yeah, I love this shot from Aquaman. It looks like that might be Atlantis that turned into desert. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of really good stuff. Although I do got to say one thing that I found rather funny. So as they're going through this thing, they bring up the list of the movies. The Batman, Black Adam, The Flash, Aquaman, Lost Kingdom. They then bring up, first of all, then we see this shot again of the various characters. And then they have the audacity. Let me see if I can fast forward this a bit. Oh, I don't want to go too far. They have the audacity to put this on. Only in theaters. It's like, don't just try to forget what we did to the movie theaters last year. Let's not talk about that. Let's not pretend that we totally fucked everybody over last year. Only in theaters. So it's like, all right, well, better late than never. But listen, I'll tell you what. I don't know if all these movies are going to be complete, utter garbage. This looks great. This looks great. This one spot did 5 times more to get me pumped for the upcoming DC slate than that pathetic DC fandom event they did this year. I'm still upset about that because the previous DC fandom was so good. So anyway, this last one was a waste, but this thing did the job that DC fandom should have done. I am excited for all these. I am pumped for all these. Obviously, I'm super excited for the Batman. March 1st, cannot get here soon enough. Very, very stoked for this. Rob, you know, I showed that you walked in the door. I told you this thing had just dropped. You took a look at it. What was your reaction to it?
You know, I hark back to the great words from the philosophers from the Lonely Island who said they just jizzed in their pants. Well, I did too when I watched this. I have to say, as an old school Justice League fan. When I was a kid, my favorite thing in comics was when the Justice League teamed up with the Justice Society of America. They would do it. They would do it once a year, and you'd see the roster on the covers, and then inside which members were going to get together. To see Dr. Fate and to see Hawkman. Now, we've seen them in Smallville.
Look at that costume.
They've been depicted before. But, dude, when Hawkman extends his wings and you see Dr. Fate's helmet, bruh, come on. I mean, this is the realization. Again, we're living in wondrous times. Don't I always say that?
Yep.
A Black Adam movie with the Justice Society in it, I can't believe. I mean, yesterday I'm crying over dinosaurs. Today, I'm jizzing in my pants over Dr. Fate. We live in amazing times, John, and I can't wait.
By the way, I gotta see if I can find this shot. I'm not sure that I can. Oh, this was a great one too. Run through. Oh, there he is. I get our first look at Pierce Brosnan. Man, that dude is just majestic. Pierce Brosnan is just majestic.
I mean, if you're gonna have somebody play a superhero, why not get James Bond to do it?
Yeah. Or Remington Steele, depending on the
Yes.
era you come from. He's right there. Anyway, Chris, you had a chance to
Thomas
check
Crown.
this out. What did you think about it? What was the highlight to you? What did you think about this little preview spot they gave us?
Everything in this looks great. The stuff that I really, really enjoyed are the same things you guys are talking about, all the Black Adam stuff. You know, seeing Atom Smasher look cool, that's
Yeah.
exciting to me. Seeing the Hawkman, which do we know if because he's Carter Hall, but do we know if they're going Thanagarian or is he just the
I
reincarnation?
hope they go Thanagarian.
I love the
Gotta
Thanagarian.
is
believe they
great.
are. I gotta believe they are. I haven't heard anything
Yeah.
official, but I gotta believe they are.
That's what I was trying to double check here, and I haven't found anything. I just know he's playing Carter Hall, but I don't know if they're going that route. I hope they do. That'd be really, really amazing. Everything looks fantastic, and I gotta eat some crow because years ago I kept talking about how this Flash movie didn't exist. It was the Snuffleupagus of film, and here we are. Flash
Well,
looks like it may happen.
You could be forgiven. They literally, not exaggerating.
How many directors?
They went through 4 sets of directors.
Yeah.
And then when they finally settled on, I keep forgetting the name of the guys, the last pair that they had, the 2 guys who did Game Night. And then they did
Was it
something-
Lord Miller?
No, it wasn't
No, it was
Lord,
Lord
Miller,
Miller.
but I forget the name of the guys. But they were exciting about it, and then they had some creative differences with Ezra Miller, and the studio sided with Ezra Miller, and so those 2 guys left. They went through several sets of scripts and several sets of screenwriters. This movie was supposed to be out in theaters, I believe, in 2019.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you'd be forgiven a little bit if you were a little bit
The
skeptical.
Snuffleupagus of movies. They should put that on the poster.
Oh, yeah, here
You
it
thought
comes.
it was the
You thought it was
Snuffleupagus of movies.
imaginary, but here it is.
Here it
Look
is.
at how fast he moves now.
Ray, you had a chance to watch this. Did it excite you? Do you want to see it? Did it not do much for you? What do you think?
I think everything looks great, Black Adam especially, but I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I gotta see the final product. I mean,
What a cynic.
but I will say, I really hope this is DC's year because they got some big guns
They do.
about to play in the theater, and they should take this year with those characters. They should, but we'll see. I don't know. But I think everything looks good. Dr. Fate looks good. I mean, the Black Adam stuff is cool to me because all the years of the fan arts and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and now seeing it on screen is gonna be cool.
I
You
still
know?
remember all the way back in the AMC days, constantly us talking about this upcoming Black Adam movie because they literally announced it like 5-6 years ago. But like Ray, I remember being the guy who did all of our thumb art and stuff like that, desperately trying to come up because we were talking about Black Adam so much, always trying to come up with new ways to do a
I
thumbnail with
know
Black Adam.
every single time, and then like all 10 of mine, like the quick jobs, whatever, they're fine, and then all of a sudden I run into Boss Logic's version. I'm like, okay, that's just not fair, bro.
You know, John, I have to say, I was talking earlier a couple weeks ago on this show saying how when I see Dwayne Johnson in a movie, it's always just Dwayne Johnson. Like, I
Right.
can't see him as the character. He doesn't. But seeing these glimpses of him as Black Adam in this, he looks to me like an Alex Ross painting come to life. He looks like something out of Kingdom Come. And I'm like, I'm looking and going, that's Black Adam. I'm not looking at Dwayne Johnson.
Right.
I'm looking at Black Adam, and maybe that's just me projecting, but I'm excited,
Hope
dude.
springs eternal.
I'm excited. But there was no Shazam. I guess Shazam's 2023.
Yeah.
What's crazy is he doesn't need a muscle suit. This guy
No,
is
no,
like,
he did, and he did. They made a
fits
big
the
deal about
part
that.
perfectly.
They made a big deal about that. That was they insisted no padding, no muscle suit.
Levi's got a way to go.
Yeah, Levi's got to catch up a little bit. But to Ray's point, look, let's call it what it is. DC is very good at their marketing because they have put. I mean, still remember, dude, that first Batman versus Superman trailer that they played at Comic-Con
Dude.
is still one. I'm not going to call it the best, but it is still one of the best trailers I've ever seen. I ended up liking the movie.
Which one?
The Batman versus Superman one.
Okay.
And I ended up liking that movie very much. A lot of people didn't, and that's fine. But yeah, I totally get where Ray's coming from, and I think there's probably going to be a lot of people that are like, okay, yeah, this preview's good, but I ain't jumping on the train just yet. I mean, the proof's got to be in the pudding. Batman will go a long way.
Yep.
I just want to throw this out too. Think about this. This year, we've got Black Adam, the Batman, we got Aquaman 2, and we got The Flash. We've got Doctor Strange 2. We got Thor, Love and Thunder. And then that's all on top of all the Marvel Disney Plus stuff that we got coming to. This is a really good year.
It's a good time to be a geek.
Yes, it's a really good time.
It starts with the Batman coming up soon.
right, March 1st.
They could start their year off very good by releasing a good Batman movie.
I mean, if that comes out, following up on the momentum that Spider-Man No Way Home has generated, you put out another big hit, positively received comic book movie. That could bode very well for the movies we got coming out the rest of the year. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see this DC preview? I think it looks pretty sick. How did you guys feel about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comments section below and leave us your thoughts. All right, guys. Before we do any more, of course, Super Bowl's this weekend. You want to tidy up your place, but why not tidy up your private place as well? Let's hear from the sponsor of today's episode, the good heroes over at Manscaped. Hey guys, we want to take just a second and thank the sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. Now listen guys, you know, it is not the 1970s anymore. It is not cool for a man just to let his balls look like the deepest, darkest jungles anymore. You want to keep them trimmed. You want to keep them tidy. And there's nothing I entrust more to the well-being of Dr. Jack Hammer and the amazing Fantastical than the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. This thing trims like a finely tuned machine for my finely tuned area. But wait, there's more. Because today I'm excited to let you guys know about Manscaped launching their new Ultra Premium Collection. Believe it or not, it's not for your not-so-private parts. I am talking about a leveled-up overall hygiene routine with your favorite manly scents. Now, in the special Ultra Premium Collection, we're talking about premium Manscaped deodorant. Don't just take care of your balls. Gotta take care of them armpits too, guys. A hydrating body spray. Listen, you got tattoos or issues with any dry skin? Well, this spray-on lotion is designed to keep your skin feeling moisturized, smooth, and dudes, smelling fresh. And you guys have heard me talk about the body wash. This body wash was a revelation to me. I use it every freaking day. They've also got a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, plus a free gift, a 3-pack set of lip balm for guys who are taking care of their lips. So here's what you need to do. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code Campea, C-A-M-P-E-A, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code Campea at manscaped.com. The power of attraction is now in a bottle, thanks to our friends at Manscaped. And once again, our big thank you to our sponsors over at Manscaped. By the way, guys, remember, when you go over there and take advantage of the stuff, and you absolutely should, make sure you use that promo code Campea. That helps you out, and it helps out the show as well. Okay, with that down, let's now get into our main topics here today, shall we? And how do we select our main topics here in the John Campea Show? Well, it's really rather simple. You see, you guys come up with them. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Chris, what is our first main topic today?
Topic number 1 is coming from, once again, Kyle. Hey gang, so I just saw Disney has just canceled their upcoming Beauty and the Beast Disney Plus prequel series just days after announcing Rita Ora was cast in it. As Scott Lang would say, what the hell happened here? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And yeah, listen, they announced a long time ago this Beauty and the Beast prequel series that was going to focus on Gaston and LeFou. Gaston played by Luke Evans, LeFou played by Josh Gad. Listen, I didn't love the Beauty and the Beast live action movie. I liked it. I didn't love it. But what I did love was Luke Evans and Josh Gad in it as Gaston LeFou. I could have watched, I remember saying I could watch a whole movie of just these guys. And then several years ago, they announced they were going to do a series of it. And we've been waiting and waiting. And then, of course, the pandemic kicked in, all kinds of stuff. But then that's fine. Everything goes full steam again. And in recent weeks, we've been talking about some casting news, not just Rita Ora, but I always forget the name of the guy from the Hawkeye series who played Echo's right-hand guy.
Oh, yeah.
Frothy or
Yeah.
Frothy, something like that.
I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know how to say it. But the point is, a lot of casting announcements, a lot of casting news. This thing's moving ahead full steam, right? Well, apparently not. Now, technically speaking, it has not been canceled, but it has been delayed. This comes from the folks over at Variety who write the following. The Beauty and the Beast prequel series is no longer moving forward as planned at Disney+. According to sources, the live-action musical show is being postponed for an undetermined amount of time. Here it is, due to creative and scheduling issues. The show was meant to begin shooting this summer in Europe, but certain creative elements were not yet ready, which would have delayed shooting. Given the scheduling issues this would cause with the show's cast as well as weather constraints, it was decided to hold off and revisit the show at a later date. News of the postponement comes just days after it was announced that Rita Ora was set to join the cast of the show, while Variety exclusively reported that Hawkeye alum, here it is, Frothy, was joining back in January. So that again comes to us from the folks over at Variety. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm bummed. I'm looking forward to the show. I know a lot of people going, really? You're looking for music? Yeah, I am. I think this could have been pretty good. I'm excited about it. Discouraging to hear about creative differences. They've been working on this thing for years.
Yeah.
You would have thought that any of these creative differences or problems would have been ironed out by now, but I suppose not. And any little delay. See, that's the thing. Hollywood schedules are so delicate. Everybody is scheduled to the gills. So one thing moves, suddenly somebody's not available because they've got 15 other things they got to do. So yeah, I'm happy to hear that it's not canceled per se, but bummed out this has been delayed because I was actually looking forward to this. Chris, let me ask you, did you have any interest? I don't think you and I have talked about this Beauty and the Beast thing. Have you had any interest in this? And what do you think about the delay? Or do you think delay is just a nice thing they're saying right now and it's ultimately just going to be carved? Like, what do you think?
I want to say delay is a nice thing they're saying because Josh Gad is so involved in this.
Yeah.
He's executive producing. I believe he's a co-showrunner on it too.
Yes, he is.
And so that gave me a lot of faith in this because like you, I really just like Luke and Josh in that film. I remember watching it and I'm a huge Beauty and the Beast fan. This is my favorite Disney movie of all time. The first animated film to ever be nominated for Best Picture, right? It's a masterpiece. And I shouldn't root for Gaston watching the live action. Yet there I was, right? I'd be like, Belle, you're kind of being a bitch right now. Come on. So I wasn't thrilled about the movie as a whole, but I loved those guys. So this show, I was going to give it, a little bit of hope. A cautiously optimistic viewing. I got really excited about Rita Ora, though, because according to Deadline, her character was going to be this fugitive who was on the run, who had mysterious abilities. So I was like, oh, is she going to be our enchantress? Is she going to be the one who causes all this mayhem and stuff, ultimately, that leads us to the Beauty and the Beast film? So hopefully we'll see this down the road. But since Luke Evans and Josh Gad have both tweeted, too, that this is not happening for the time being, I think we don't have much hope of it showing up anytime soon.
Ray, help me out. Is Rita Ora like a 6th or 7th cousin to you guys or something? I thought I can't remember exactly.
I don't know. She texted me last night and she said good luck on the show today.
Oh,
that was very nice of her.
That's great.
But
Family.
Family's always got family.
No, I don't know. She's the only other Ora I know, but someone just pointed out she's Albanian, so there's probably no chance that there's any connection.
There was some Filipino singer who's like really successful right now, and I think Ann mentioned there's actually like a 3rd or 4th cousin situation there with them. But I assumed it was Rita Ora. I guess I'm wrong.
But I will say that adding like an artist, a musical artist to a musical is
Makes
always
sense.
a good thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
You know what? And I love Emma Stone. I do. I love. Sorry, Emma Stone. I love Emma
Watson.
Watson. I love Emma Stone too. I love Emma Watson. I do. She should not have been cast as Belle. She's definitely got the acting talent. She's definitely got the beauty. It's no wonder that her name means beauty. Her looks have got no parallel. She's beautiful, and she can sing better than me. But
I don't know. That was pretty good.
yeah, that was,
but she can't sing on the level that a lot of the people in that sing. So when she sang, you could feel it was one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah.
Still, I was looking forward to this a lot. Rob, what about you? Like you hear about? Did you have any interest in this?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, those two guys played off each other so well, and it could be a fun series. I mean, I didn't know what they were going to do with it, but look, to me, it's always a bummer when things that are deep into some kind of creative development get scuttled, because there's somewhere somebody's put a lot of work into this already, and to have it sort of unceremoniously have the plug pulled is never an easy thing.
Yeah, that's too bad. Like I said, I've really been looking forward to this. I hope somehow, some way, they're able to get this thing back on track, and they do indeed move forward with it at some time. At any rate, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Maybe you're like a lot of people and you weren't interested at all. I certainly was. Do you think it's going to get made? Do you think it's dead forever? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.
hold on.
Hold a second.
I got some breaking news for Rob.
Uh-oh.
They said they just dropped some Empire covers of
Oh,
Moon
I-
Knight.
We looked at them.
Oh, you guys did.
Oh, yeah.
I,
Okay, yeah, we
yeah,
looked at
I had
those.
to. I had
Okay,
to go.
I gotta check those
Yeah, I
out.
had to take a moment.
Okay.
I had to take a moment.
Oh, yeah.
The
we
tears
looked
were
at those,
streaming.
but yeah, they look pretty damn good. Some pretty good Moon Knight stuff. All right. With that all down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This is from Dan V. Hey everyone, I was just wondering if you had a chance to watch the Adam Project trailer. It's directed by Sean Levy, and Ryan Reynolds looks like he isn't playing the stereotypical character he usually plays. It looks much better than expected with its premise, and Sean Levy did a very good job with Ryan Reynolds and Free Guy. Now it's a Netflix movie, so we'll see how it is, but what are your thoughts?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in. And yeah, a bunch of people were writing in yesterday about the new one for the Adam Project. I didn't have a chance to watch before yesterday's show. I watched it last night. Now, of course, I'm going to be instantly interested because it's got my favorite movie star, Ryan Reynolds, good Canadian kid, in there. What I didn't know, and what people didn't warn me about, I didn't know this was the sequel to 13 Going on 30. This is officially the sequel to 13 Going on 30. Jennifer Garner and Mike Ruffalo's characters grow up and have Ryan Reynolds as a kid. It's amazing. I don't know why they changed the title to The Adam Project, but that's okay. But no, still, seeing them as a couple in it, that's great to me. You know, Jennifer Garner, my all-time #1 Hollywood celebrity crush, is Jennifer Garner. Has been forever, always will be. Love Mark Ruffalo. And then Zoe Saldana popping up in there too. I was like, well, that's unusual. It's a nice spot. It's a nice trailer. It feels cute. Obviously, what these guys did together on Free Guy was one of my most pleasant surprise movies of the year. I loved Free Guy. Saw it 4 times in theaters, only because I ran out of time to go and see it a 5th. I love that movie. And I think this thing looks like it has potential. I'm not going to lie, though, just because Ryan's my favorite guy, I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I think this is the greatest trailer ever. And it is a Netflix original movie, as was Red Notice. And just because it's got The Rock and Ryan in it doesn't mean I like that. So I don't know, but the trailer's good. It's a kind of, when the kid, I love the scene in it when the kid's like, you know how to close the fridge. You're wearing dad's watch. You're me. I was. I mean, it's a nice thing. The effects look pretty good. The fighting stuff looks pretty good. Mark me as being down for this. I'm down for this thing. Rob, you had a chance to see this trailer. What did you think?
I liked it. You know, it's intriguing science fiction premise. The idea of, being met by your older self who's older and wiser and can impart knowledge that you're going to need later in life. I mean, I've always liked that premise. It looked good. I mean, you know what this reminded me of? It reminded me of The Last Starfighter. That wasn't, The Last Starfighter is not the greatest science fiction movie in the world, but it's good. You know, it's solid. Alex Rogan living in a trailer park, playing a video game. It turns out He's gonna go fight Zur in the Kodan Armada. I mean, I'm like, and I love The Last Starfighter. Is it the greatest movie in the world? No, but I really liked it, and this gave me Last Starfighter vibes, so I'm in.
It did have a little bit of that, didn't? Chris, you had a chance to see the trailer for the Adam Project. What did you think about it?
I'm pretty excited about this. I know you and I disagree on this. I love time travel tropes. It's one of my favorite things to have in comic books and movies, so I'm always kind of just in on that. I know, I'm a sucker for it. But I think the tech in this also looks cool. I love the ship. I love his little staff weapon that pops out and everything too.
I saw a freeze frame of the trailer before I saw the trailer. I thought he was holding a lightsaber. It's like, oh, okay, I'm okay. They move, but the staff ended up being pretty cool.
It has some Tron vibes and stuff, which I like. I'm really excited about this cast too. I think Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo just have wonderful chemistry.
Yeah.
And I love that moment in the trailer too of both versions of the sons seeing their dad again. Oh, it's going to be a good popcorn movie at the very least.
In this movie, we have the Incredible Hulk talking to Deadpool. We have Gamora. We have Elektra. And who else am I missing there? Yeah, that's all of them, right?
Uhura.
And
Gamora.
And Uhura, yeah. So we have, but in the comic realm, we got Hulk, Deadpool, Elektra, all Marvel-based. Deadpool. It's a good collection of people there. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the trailer for the Adam Project? If so, what did it do for you? Did it move the needle? Are you excited about seeing? Do you think it looks pretty good? I don't think it's the best trailer I've seen, but you know what? It got me on board. I'm going to check this thing out. Whatever you guys felt about it, jump down into the comments section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 3. Chris, what is our third main topic today?
Our third topic comes from someone with an amazing name, Chris. Hello, John and Crew. Well, R.I.P. Entertainment Weekly. Growing up, I used to love getting the new editions of Entertainment Weekly in the mail on Fridays, along with my monthly editions of Premiere, which is also sadly no more. Honestly, I did check out and unsubscribe when EW very idiotically decided to become Entertainment Monthly, yet didn't even change the name, and its content went downhill and was outdated. But it's still a sad day for the entertainment and film-based print media. Thoughts?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And look, I'm going to go all the way back to, I remember when like the Star Wars prequels were coming out too, and the covers of Entertainment Weekly and things like that. There is something about, with the printed magazines, whether it's Empire or Entertainment Weekly or Total Film, you know, in the web world, they bang out these articles as fast as they can.
Bang it out.
Bang it out and get them posted online as fast as they can. Because in online, that's it. You got to be first. You got to get that Google algorithm thing. You got to get that rank on the search result list and all that kind of stuff. Do whatever you got to do. And that's fine. And there's a lot of great stuff. There's tons of great stuff online that I read every day. But I still remember a couple of years ago, I picked up an Empire magazine. Might have been Empire, might have been Total Film. But at any rate, I picked up one. And I remember started reading one of the articles. And I'm just like, there's a notable difference in the depth and quality level of the writing in those. Because you know, going into print, a lot of time went into that. You know that it then went through 2 levels of editors. And it was polished, researched, the whole bit. And I just remember reading some of that, like fact check to the gills. And I just remember reading those articles and going, this is really a joy reading these. And in the online world, you just don't have that kind of time. This happened. Quick. Post. Right? And there's some very, very gifted writers and very gifted online outlets that do it that I love and read every day. But there was something a little bit different. But I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine a while ago about Entertainment Weekly. And I remember stopping going, but wait a minute, is it still in print? Like, I know they had their online presence, but I didn't know if they were still in print. The answer now, it's not. This comes from the folks over at the Hollywood Reporter who write the following. We have said from the beginning that buying Meredith was about buying brands, not magazines or websites. It is not news to anyone that there has been a pronounced shift in readership and advertising from print to digital. And, as a result, for a few important brands, print is no longer serving the brand's core purpose, Vogel wrote. As such, we are going to move to a digital-only future for these brands, which will help us to unlock their full potential. So, Entertainment Weekly, as a brand, is still going to be there, but that physical hold in your hand kind of thing is gone. And look, I'm not surprised. I remember I saw somebody the other day reading a newspaper. And I remember thinking to myself, I actually haven't seen that in a long time. I haven't seen somebody down reading a newspaper in a while. And I haven't seen somebody walking around with a physical copy of Entertainment Weekly in a while. You look like you want to say something.
I
right?
do, John. You know, when I first started like a little bit working with you, like with the email, when we started doing the email, I started doing the email stuff. I wasn't making a lot of money, so like I discovered this website. I don't know, free stuff times, whatever, just to get free stuff.
Free stuff
fill out
times.
a form. You fill out a form like get a free Rice Krispies shirt, and that's how I felt like I was still had money to buy stuff. It would come in, free shirt, wash the car with it. But I would run into these.
Wash the car with.
I would run
Snap,
into these
crackle,
like
and pop on your windshield.
free magazine ones, right?
Oh, okay.
And one of them was Entertainment Weekly, and for some reason I ended up with like 20 years of free subscription to it. So like, I have a whole bunch of copies that I just really like the covers of. That I have
they have
stashed,
great covers.
you know. But I never really read them. But since I was starting to work with you, I was like, I should know what's going on in the movie industry. That's why I chose that one. And then, you know, Home and Garden. And then for some reason,
See, that
Inside.
Is that a magazine that really Home and Garden is that?
No, don't lie.
a
No,
favorite?
seriously, this explains
The
a lot.
recipes.
Because Ann and I, whenever we go over to the house, we'd always see these stacks of magazines and like technology magazines and sports magazines.
whatever.
And I'm like, is Ray really subscribing to all these? Now I know. That makes a ton of sense.
And you know what? If there's a newspaper, a real newspaper there, and I'm just too lazy to look at my small phone, I'll buy a newspaper. I just won't read it in public, but I'll read it in the bathroom.
I'm just saying, like, I would never see it. And so I got to tell you, it does break my heart a little bit. Look, I'm saying it breaks my heart, but John, when was the last time you actually bought a physical copy of Entertainment Weekly? Oh, it's been at least 5 years. So I can sit here and cry about it and say, oh, I'm breaking my heart, but I didn't get it either. So I'm part of the problem. But I mean, they're still going to exist in their online form. Rob, I mean, this has been a staple of the entertainment industry and whatever for a long time. The physical version of it is now going away. What are your thoughts on this?
Dude, I have to say, I was a magazine junkie. I would go to the newsstand every week and spend $100 on magazines. I mean, it was bad.
Wow.
And I bought high-end European magazines, Empire, Total Film, SFX. They also had a lot of home physical media magazines I would buy. I used to buy like Italian and French Vogue just to see what was up, and all kinds of magazines. I loved Entertainment Weekly. Entertainment Weekly debuted when I had my first ongoing job in the entertainment industry at Warner Brothers, and I believe it was published by Time Warner as well or something. But I love this magazine. It was like getting a confection every week because it had a great overview. It had books, it had movies, it had television, it had news, it had editorial stuff. I loved it. I loved it. And I still, read the website. But, last year, the last regular magazine I bought, which was Cinefex, I bought the first issue of Cinefex off the rack. It's a magazine about special effects. They published their last issue, which was the Mandalorian issue. And Entertainment Weekly was the last magazine I occasionally would pick up. And it's gone.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, this magazine made me really happy. It was like, it'd take you like a half an hour to read the whole thing. And I would love to read it. I'd go to lunch on Friday and have the Entertainment Weekly. I'd go buy it at 7-Eleven or whatever and then get it and then take it to lunch and read it all the way through because it gave you a blast of everything you needed to know. But John, as you know, the internet completely destroyed any value Entertainment Weekly had as a periodical.
Yeah.
So
and print as a whole.
Yeah, I have to say, but what you made a really good point. The writing in a lot of these magazines, especially, like I still love Wired. Wired remains my favorite magazine, maybe of all time, just because of technology and culture. But these magazines were, the writing was fact-checked. It had to go through editorial. Nowadays, let's face it, the actual accuracy and the quality of the writing online is not as good as it used to be
Yeah, I
in
mean,
print.
there's some very, very good.
Very good writing.
But it's just a different level from what it was when it was in print.
And entertainment journalism is ubiquitous now. I mean, look what we do.
Yeah.
And anybody and their kids or their dogs or their cats can start a YouTube channel and report on entertainment news.
Hey, Rob, do you remember Toy Fair?
Dude, come on.
Dude, that's the
Wizard
one that needs to
at
be-
Toy Fair?
Yeah, why did they take those out, man?
Oh man, I love those. Those are comic book and
I was thinking about this last night too, because I started watching this documentary on the making of Super Mario Brothers 3. And they were, what was the name of there was a
Nintendo Power.
Nintendo Power. And they were talking
That
about
was the best.
people would live off of
Dude.
That
waiting
was
for that next issue of Nintendo
thick
Power.
every month. This thick of stuff. There was guides in there. There
Yeah,
was
yeah.
everything. It was so cool.
And that stuff just doesn't exist anymore. I remember, like, the last physical magazines that I bought on a regular basis were video camera magazines. Like, so HD and cameras, like, because, you know, my main thing, I liked reading the articles. Main reason I bought those magazines was because for the ads.
Yep.
Because they would advertise way before anywhere else all the upcoming gear,
Yep.
the newest stuff, and I'd go, oh, look at all this stuff. But Ann and I were in Barnes & Noble the other day, and I went to the magazine rack, not a single digital camera magazine anymore. And I used to get like DV magazine, remember DV?
I loved and now even the newsstands, like the World Newsstand on Coenga.
It's just an
or on
iPad.
Vine.
It's
It's
just
just
an
gone.
I'm telling you, but the prices on some of these magazines are too expensive.
Oh,
for me.
I picked they're the prices of books.
Like the Photoshop magazines I like, they're $15.99 a
Yeah.
copy, and they're monthly. And I was like, there's no way I could get a subscription to this for $15 every, but I get it. It's like tutorials in there, like insider stuff, but still, $15 is a lot for.
Well, guys, it is the end of an era. The Entertainment Weekly now out of print. Again, it's still an online presence. The Entertainment Weekly hasn't gone anywhere, but the printed magazine is gone. None of us are going to pretend like we're surprised, though. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 4, shall we? Chris, what is our 4th main topic today?
This is from Justin D. Hey, John. Uncharted is my favorite video game franchise.
Woo!
And I was excited to hear about them making a movie. However, the trailers for the movie never inspired confidence in me. Now the reviews have lifted and they are mixed. Not terrible, but not the buzz I think you want if you're trying to kick off a huge movie franchise. Are you still excited to see Uncharted?
All right. Thanks a lot for sending this in, Justin. And 1 week from yesterday, so next Thursday, 4 of us are going to go watch Uncharted in the afternoon next Thursday. I have been very excited about this movie.
Me too.
I like a lot of the people who are behind the camera. I like the people they got in front of the camera. I think the trailers have been wonderful. High hopes. Not gonna lie, the wind in my sails has been taken out a little bit today. Maybe a little bit of wind taken out of my sails today, as yes, the review embargo has dropped. There are some decent reviews out there, but not the majority of them. As of this moment, Uncharted is holding a 41% on Rotten Tomatoes, which means 4 out of every 10 critics say they like it, but 6 out of every 10, and I expect this number to drop, but 6 out of every 10 is saying that they don't like it. I'll say this, though. With the exception of 1 or 2 that I read that said this movie is amazing, and with the exception of 1 or 2 that I read that said this movie is absolute crap, most of them on the pro and the negative side are pretty middling. Like, they're both like, hey, Tom Holland's very charming in it, and some of the action's pretty good, but there's nothing in here we haven't seen done better. And that's kind of the sense I'm getting from both of them. So not a lot of the extremes of this is great and this is total dog crap. A lot of it more in the middle, but yeah. Dude, listen, I've been very excited about this. I mean, obviously nowhere near as excited as I am for the Batman or things like that, but I've been very excited about this, and I'm still excited. Like, I'm still excited. We're gonna go see this on Thursday. I'm stoked for it. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you a little that enthusiasm power has been dropped down a little bit. This kind of hurts to hear, but and I'm gonna say this too. I'm surprised. I honestly expected to hear better responses and better reviews. But anyway, Chris, you're hearing this, Any surprise? Has this impacted your enthusiasm level, however high or low it was?
There's no surprise here because I was not enthusiastic about this film.
From day one.
I don't want to say I told you so, and I don't want to be smug, but I feel a little smug. I mean, obviously, no one wants to make a bad movie, and no one wants to see a bad movie. We all want to go into something and have our expectations blown away and be like, that was fun. Or at the very least, not even have our expectations blown away, but that was a movie. All right, that was a nice time. We had a great time hanging out together. I just, this is exactly what I expected. I expect that rating to drop. Critics obviously always aren't the end-all be-all of whether a film has merit, right? Sometimes they get it wrong. Sometimes we as fans find something in there that brings us joy. But this is pretty much on par with where I thought this movie was going to land.
And again, remember, like 40% of the critics are saying they like it.
Yeah.
60% are saying they don't. So, I mean, who knows? This number could go up. It could go down, whatever. I'm going to remain optimistic. I'm going to remain optimistic and believe it's going to go up a little bit. It probably will go down. Rob, look, I know you've been looking forward to seeing this movie too. What do you think about the responses we're hearing so far?
Again, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's a video game movie. One of the things about the first Uncharted game was how beautiful it was. You know, the backgrounds, the actual design. And the one thing, aside from the fact that I thought the casting was too young, you know, both Nathan Drake and Sully were just too young.
100%.
And I understand why they went that direction. I totally get it. But the one thing that I was worried about, you know, this film, the look of it, the actual look of the movie, which you can see in the trailers, was not necessarily stylized. It looked like, I call them in my own mind, movies. It looks like it takes place in movie land, whereas, as an example, people are like, what do you mean, Rob? If you look at the way, say, the last Bond film, No Time to Die, the way it looks like it was shot in the real world. Everything in Uncharted looks like it's a movie. It's lit like a movie. It feels too bright. It doesn't have that there's a fantastical quality in the Uncharted, like the realms. If you're going to do Uncharted and you go into the jungle, or you're going to go, make it look not like it could be the Jungle Book for Disney, or it could be this movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't have its own visual identity. It looks generic. And I felt that way. I don't know if it was the color palette or whatever. I would love to have seen this movie reflect the very game that it came from, with that. The jungle was real jungle in Uncharted. The ruins they found were real ruins, you know. But it just looks, the movie's apparently, judging by the reviews, generic, and I'm bummed out by it.
Did you see the last Tomb Raider?
Yes.
What did you think about that?
A little better, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that the Tomb Raider stuff had a stylization to it that this movie doesn't look like it has. I mean, is this Spanish galleon, even though it gets hoisted aloft, which I thought was cool, is it any different than Goonies or Hook or whatever?
Like
I mean,
Dora the Explorer.
Or movie. You know what? There's a little Dora the Explorer in the look of this film.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And obviously this is just a trailer, but like that we've seen so far. But like, at least in the Tomb Raider film, right? We see the sweat and the grit and the wounds and everything that's building up. And maybe we see that as the movie progresses too, but right now everyone's a little shiny and pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I personally really like the last Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah,
I thought the last one was really quite fun.
I was actually going to spend this whole weekend trying to catch something so I wouldn't have to go see this film. But now that I can't
Where are the
do that
COVID
anymore,
spikes right now? I'm going to go visit.
now that I can't do that, my love for Tom Holland will put me in the seat. Yeah. And if Rob is next to me, then they'll be a little bit cool too, because I like the Moonfall.
We had a good experience with one another.
What we saw was bad, but we just made the best of it. I was laughing the whole time.
Yeah, and I was laughing that you were laughing.
If the movie's bad, you just have to have a good time in order to make it worth it. So I'm hoping we just have a good time.
I think it will be fun. I still think it'll be fun, but I don't know. This is anyway, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? The reviews are coming out and they're pretty down the middle of the road. There's not a lot of enthusiasm for this movie. Are you surprised you're not? I'm still going to see this thing opening.
We're going.
As we're going. We're going to go see this thing. We'll let you know what we think about it when we do. Anyway, what are your guys' thoughts right now? Jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, busy day today. Let's move on to main topic number 5. Chris, what is our 5th main topic today?
This comes from Really Good Lawyer. We should be in touch. Greetings. Some reports are going around that the Marvel Netflix shows are showing notifications they are leaving the platform at the end of this month. Interestingly enough, this coincides with an article by The Hollywood Reporter talking about how Chapek wanted Disney Plus to start pulling more adult content from ABC Hulu over to Disney Plus. With these reports and reports that Daredevil will be getting his own show soon in the MCU, do you think Disney bought the distribution rights back from Netflix and are moving these shows? Thanks as always.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And look, this kind of just came out this morning, and all due respect to Miley Cyrus, it hit us like a wrecking ball. The Netflix shows, the Netflix Marvel shows, are leaving Netflix. And if that catches you by surprise, it very well should, because these are Netflix's shows. This wasn't a situation where there was, they had a 5-year deal to have the shows on Netflix. This was their shows. These weren't supposed to be leaving. And they are. And them leaving raises a whole bunch of questions and a whole bunch of possibilities. Now, to understand kind of what's going on here, let's go over in here. Where is it? Let's go over here to what's on Netflix. And what's on Netflix, they put it kind of succinctly. Let's start from the beginning here. As of February 11th, 2022, every single season of Netflix's Defenders franchise is showing removal notices in their section circumstances. Here's a couple of screenshots. As people were getting ready to watch one of the shows, this little thing in the corner there says, this show is available until March 1st. Also at the top of The Punisher, if you go to watch The Punisher, and you haven't watched it already once, this little notification at the top, in the top left, says this show is available until March 1st. Trying to watch Daredevil? You're going to get this little notification out of nowhere. This show is available until March 1st. It is all leaving. It's all going. And it wasn't supposed to. This was their stuff. Disconnected from the MCU as it is. But it is their thing. It's supposed to stay there and all that kind of stuff. And now it's leaving. There is not a lot of clarification out there right now as to what is happening or why. The only possibility that I am left with here is that this wasn't about rights lapsing. This had to have been Disney going to Netflix and saying, here is a big check. We would like to have those, please. I mean, that's the only thing I can figure out would be happening here. And to Netflix, that would probably be found money, because while there was certain spikes in people watching Daredevil when Kingpin showed up and when Charlie Cox showed up in Spider-Man No Way Home, basically the people don't watch those shows anymore. So they got all the benefit that they were going to get out of those shows. And if Disney's going to come along and buy it, well, then why not? However, it needs to be pointed out here. This is really, really important to understand. There is a narrative being spread around online that Disney bought the rights back. While that is certainly probably what happened, and if I had to bet $5 on it, I would bet that's what happened. Let's be very, very clear right now. Nobody is saying that Disney officially bought this. Disney is not saying they bought the rights back to it. Netflix is not saying Disney bought the rights to it. So there's a narrative going around out there. Did you hear that Disney bought the rights back? As of right now, while I believe that's what happened, we do not know that's what happened. But it is a pretty logical assumption at this point. It raises a few questions, but here's the interesting thing, is the possibilities. The discussion about, are the Netflix Marvel shows canon? That debate ended a long time ago. They're not. A lot of people tried for so long to argue that they were. Clearly they were not. But if, and this is a big if Marvel has bought these properties, what does that say? Does that mean Marvel could graduate those shows into canon. I don't think that they will, but this is consistent with something that Bob Iger had been saying for a long time. Now, back in 2018, Bob Iger said the following and talking about trying to bring all of Disney's IP back under its own roof. Bob Iger said this: "We are fully committed." This is back in 2018. "We are fully committed to not only bringing the product to market and making it a long-term success, it has to be the destination for all Disney stuff." Talking about Disney Plus. It's got to become the destination for all of Disney stuff. And that means ultimately weaning ourselves ultimately weaning ourselves of our product being available any other place except for on our linear channels. So Big Papa Iger let us know years ago that my long-term strategy here is to bring back everything and to, moving forward, only allow our stuff to appear on our limited linear channels. We are out of the business of licensing out our content to other presenters. We're not going to do that anymore. That's what got us in trouble with Paramount and Sony and in the Spider-Man predicament all in the first place. So then bringing them back is really interesting. And quite frankly, Rob, this changes the parameters of the discussion. Because whenever we've talked about this in the past, it's always been said in the context that, well, okay, yes, but Netflix owns it. They own it in perpetuity. They have their rights to certain iterations. Disney can do certain things too. And so we always formulated our opinions and future casting based on those realities. But the reality's been changed. So let me ask you, when you see this news that just hit us all this morning, that these Netflix shows are leaving Netflix, what do you speculate was the cause of them leaving Netflix? Do you think that the most likely scenario here is that Disney just bought out the rights to it outright? And what do you think this might mean for Marvel and the MCU and these Defender characters moving forward?
Well, I think we have to be clear that Netflix does not own any rights to these characters.
Not to the characters.
They don't. So I'm willing to bet that there was a licensing agreement that Netflix made for a finite amount of time, which I don't know how many years that would be. But like, say we license the character of Daredevil for a certain amount of time for our shows. Netflix paid for these shows, they made these shows, but when the license for the characters ran out, I'll bet that there was something in the clause that says, okay, if you would like to continue on with these shows, you have to pay us an additional license fee to continue airing these shows. Otherwise, you cannot. So the idea, so Netflix is like, yeah, we'll invest in these shows. They knew that the rights would run out. They knew, so they would have to re-up a licensing fee for these characters in order to continue broadcasting them. I'll bet that came up with probably the first.
I'm going to disagree with you on that because I don't know. I don't believe any legal department would clear that. I think if I'm Netflix, like I would say there's definitely character license to be able to create content. But I think that once they created that content and that iteration of that content, I think that was theirs in perpetuity.
I don't know about that because
if I'm Netflix's lawyers, I don't let them sign a deal that says that the product that we paid for and produced, we lose the rights to even still have that iteration. I'm not sure about that.
They don't lose it. They have to re-up it after a certain amount of time. I mean, that's true of like, if you make a movie, you can make a movie for a studio and the studio might only have the rights for that movie for 15 years. And then after 15 years, it either reverts to the owners or the studio can pay another fee to own that movie for a longer period of time. So I would imagine that there was something to do with that. And it came up and Netflix said, you know what? We don't need these shows anymore. We're not going to re-up for us. And there was probably some kind of reversion clause because of what happened with Hulk and Spider-Man, Universal and Sony. When they originally sold these characters, or licensed the characters out, there must have been some kind of reversion clause of some kind. And Disney just said, we'll pay you. We'll reimburse you for whatever your production costs are, however it worked. I don't know. Maybe there was we'll give you 20% of what your production costs. So it's free money for Netflix. they get rid of these shows, and Disney has incorporated Charlie Cox is now part of the MCU.
Yep.
Kingpin is now part of the MCU. D'Onofrio is part of the MCU. So what Disney Plus has just got is a whole catalog of titles that are now, just like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are now part of canonical MCU, even though it's a multiverse. These characters are too, and they have just been given an entire slate of Marvel characters back that it's free content for Disney Plus.
See, I'm glad you brought up the stuff about the movie stuff, because one of the things that we knew when we all thought that the Marvel Disney, let me rephrase that. When we all thought that the Disney and Sony deal regarding Spider-Man was coming to an end back a couple of years ago and all that kind of stuff, one of the things that we did know was that even if the rights to the Spider-Man character were going back to Disney, all those older movies were still Sony's. Like that, those didn't revert back to Disney. They still belong to Sony. I think the second thing you said is exactly what happened. I think there was probably something in the contract that gave Disney an option after so many years to pay Netflix a set fee and then take those back. And I think that now we might be completely wrong on this. For all we know, there could be another option here. That just to me seems to be the one that makes the most sense right now. But let me push you a little bit further on it, though. What do you think this says? Like, here's where it becomes interesting. Does Marvel at this point say, we are now going to cherry pick what we liked from the Netflix stuff and incorporate that in, much like Lucasfilm these days cherry picks from the expanded universe material? Or are they going to go full blown and say, oh, this is all canon. That means everything that happened in Iron Fist is completely canon. That means that everything that happened in Luke Cage. Or do you think they're going to take the Lucasfilm route and cherry pick?
I think, that's going to be interesting to see. But I would say this. It's no skin off their shoulders with the Defenders shows, if you want to call them that, whatever, the New York shows. And I think if you look at, say, Hawkeye kind of fits right in with these New York street Marvel characters. There's nothing that has contradicted anything really that happened in Daredevil, the 3 seasons of Daredevil. There's nothing that contradicts that's happened in the MCU. And if anything, now that you've seen Charlie Cox in Spider-Man No Way Home, I think all of these under one roof just adds more value to the MCU. They just now, if they say, because they don't actually have to come out and go, these are canonical. They could just do it, and you can decide in the viewer's mind, but why not? I would love to see Jessica Jones come back. I love the first season of Jessica Jones.
So good.
I liked it much better than the second season.
Same.
I was really disappointed in the second season of Jessica Jones, but I love her. So if they bring her back, they don't even have to say anything. Charlie Cox, to me, when they put Charlie Cox in and Vincent D'Onofrio in, it was tacit approval. They're like, these shows are canonical. We're just not going to say that they are. We'll let you decide.
I still don't know if they're saying the shows were canonical or not. But here's the brilliant thing. Like, when they did the Netflix shows, it was so clear that they were doing everything in their power to keep it completely separate from the MCU. Despite the odd little reference, like the New York incident, whatever. By keeping it completely separate, now they can do whatever they want and it not contradict. Because they never actually overtly connected it to the MCU, even though they slightly implied it at times.
But they never overtly disconnected it either.
No, both,
and now they're actually connecting it.
That gives them the flexibility to do whatever they want at this point.
I mean, it kind of bums me out because I said last week on the show I really want a Daredevil movie. Right. And it looks like by doing this, I think those odds have been diminished. I think we're going to get another Daredevil show because now Daredevil, you've got 3 seasons of a Daredevil show. Daredevil might appear in the movies because why not? But I think it makes sense. Can you imagine if they do another Daredevil show? Then it's like the 4th season of Daredevil. I mean, how awesome would that be?
I want it.
That again, I still don't know if this would mean that they would literally just do season 4 of Daredevil, or is this a kind of a new refresh of the character and they're giving him his own story to do? I mean, I don't know. It raises a lot of questions, but more importantly, a lot of possibilities. Chris, you hear about this. What's your first reaction to this, and where do you think this all might be going?
Give me more Jessica Jones is where it goes. Because season 1 was amazing. Season 2 faltered. Season 3 was decent. But I'm really, really excited. And also some of the things that, D'Onofrio have said does make it seem at least his character is canon, like all the things that he saw there, which then means a lot of that story does have to come through too. And he's talked about how like the blip took him to a different place as that character. And that's why he's the way he looks when we see him. So I'm really excited for them to explore all of that. You brought up Miley Cyrus at the beginning of this, John. This is a Hannah Montana situation. We're getting the best of both worlds now. All right. So now we can bring it all together. And I'm really, really pumped for this. The thing I'm just most disappointed in is now that the world doesn't know who Peter Parker is really, right? Jessica Jones went to high school with him. I would have loved to see that. I would have loved a mouthy Jessica Jones being like, fuck you, Tom Holland. I think it would have been so fun. That's my only
Yeah, but there's the age difference.
That's true. She got held back a lot, apparently.
I was never a fan of Jessica Jones.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, other than the villain in season 1.
David Tennant as Kilgrave is so good.
So
and
good.
that's
Very
and that's
good
where
character.
they kind of lost it. It was so satisfying to see that ending in season 1.
Yeah.
But you needed him. That's why they brought him back to an extent. And then it gave the show another kind of like punch, right? And then we didn't have him again. He provided so much for that show.
What's going to be interesting to see now moving forward is how much of the Netflix stuff do they bring along with them?
I think they'll bring along what works.
I mean, because if they're going to do the show, I keep forgetting the name of the character, but the blonde girl in Daredevil, who was, Foggy's girlfriend first, I think. Then she was Matt's
Karen.
girlfriend. Yeah.
Karen Page.
So
Karen Page.
do they bring her along? Does she become, or do they pretend that character didn't exist? Do they bring in Foggy, or are they just going to say there's a new Foggy and this is a different relationship, whatever? Again, are they just going to say we're just continuing on with the Netflix stuff that existed? Or are they saying, well, now that we've got it under the same roof, we're going to give it its own story that is more unique to the MCU? I mean, I just don't know at this point. I would have said one thing 2 days ago. Today, I just don't know.
Well, what I think is really interesting, with all this multiverse talk, the Ben Affleck Daredevil, even though they have not directly tied the Ben Affleck Daredevil to the MCU, it's still, you look at it and go, this is a multiverse version of Daredevil. And it kind of harks back to the comics themselves. Whenever there's been a new character, a new creator, new runs on the comic, whether it's Kevin Smith doing Daredevil or Frank Miller doing Daredevil or Anna Cinti doing Daredevil or whomever, in the comics, they've had sort of this loose extended continuity. Well, now with the multiverse, if there's ever a problem and things bump, you can just say that this is a multiverse version of this.
Right.
And it still works. And I kind of like that because it's more along the lines of, like, there have been comics I have dropped because I haven't liked the creators they put on the books. And I like this certain very iconic run, like John Byrne on Fantastic Four. There have been Jonathan Hickman on Fantastic Four. Those are great runs. There are other runs I didn't like as much. And in my mind, canonically, only the runs I really like are canonical. The rest I kind of, that didn't happen.
I think a lot of fans do that.
Yeah, and I think, but now you can, I think Marvel realizes that they don't have to fear any of this. They don't have to worry, is it canonical or not?
Yeah.
And they can pick and choose, like you said. They can go back to what Lucas is doing. Oh, we can bring Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah,
Or,
just because we bring in
Cad
Grand
Bane or
Admiral
whatever.
Thrawn, that doesn't mean everything that happened in the Thrawn books is actually canon.
Right.
We just like this part, and we're going to bring this in.
Oh, no, which I like. How do you feel? Do you think that that's a good thing to do? Or do
I
you
think
see it-
long term, it's
I
a
do,
great way to
yeah.
approach it.
I do too.
Then you get the best of both worlds. You get to bring along. You get to go to that fruitcake because nobody likes fruitcake. Nobody eats fruitcake, but if there's some good icing on it,
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. I can't do you like fruitcake?
Chef Pleasures could whip up.
Yeah, let's
I
go.
know,
Like
bet.
panettone?
Hey, how come none of you guys?
You got
are,
two chefs over at the table here. Come on.
How come none of you guys are mentioning the Punisher? That's what a lot of people are.
Well,
are
okay,
pointing
let's
out.
get to the Punisher in a second.
It's tough, right?
Let's get to Punisher in a second. But with this, again, you can say, well, you know what? I don't like fruitcake, but so-and-so puts this icing on it, and that icing's delicious, but I don't want to eat the... Okay, you know what? I'll just take the icing. And now you get to do something great with the icing and do your own thing with it and do whatever you want. And
Sugar.
So much sugar.
It's all
So
sugar.
much sugar. So, but then we've talked before about Punisher presents a little bit of a conundrum for Disney. And that's what also brings up. Do you say this is just a continuation of the Netflix stuff, or does it become a Thrawn thing where you pick and choose certain things? Because do they want to say this is all canon? Yeah, we've got a Frank Castle. We got the John Bernthal Frank Castle. And I don't know. I don't know what they want to do because there is Frank Castle obviously became unwillingly a centerpiece of some political debate and all that kind of stuff that I don't know that Disney wants to have anything to do with. So I don't know. It's a really good question about what they do with Frank Castle.
I mean, I think what's interesting is if they put that up, they can say Frank Castle exists, but they just never get back around to him. You know, that's what happens in life. Some friends of yours you don't talk to anymore, and 30 years go by, and hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm old now. I don't punish anymore.
I don't punish. All the punishment has been given.
I've meted it all out.
Yeah, I'm the happy uncle now. I'm the one who just gives candy. So I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. But again, by the picking and choosing, you just pretend that the Iron Fist doesn't exist. This is the thing. The possibility exists that they can say, okay, so here's the Vinny D'Onofrio Kingpin, here's Charlie Cox, and if they want to do Iron Fist, they can bring in a completely different Iron Fist later and say it's his own story and say, well, wait a minute, but you know, Charlie already fought with him. No, that was a different universe. That was a different thing where that variant of Matt Murdock worked with a different variant of Iron Fist. This is our new Iron Fist.
We have no Danny, only Colleen Wing.
Only just get her out of the Matrix and bring her back here. She's so great. But anyway, that's where it becomes a best of both worlds. You can create the new stuff you want to create, and you can cherry pick out the stuff that you like.
Well, it's like, you know, one of the things all these Batman stories, I grew up reading all different versions of Elseworlds Batman tales. There's been so many. I loved Batman and the Outsiders, and the Mike Barr, you know, and Jim Aparo doing it. It's goofy. It's goofy. I don't read Batman and the Outsiders and go, that Batman is the same Batman that's in Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. It's not. The Nuclear Family, one of the dumbest villain things, but I liked it. So in my own mind, as a comic book fan, I'm not so caught up in continuity. I'm like, I can enjoy an Elseworld story. I can enjoy Superman Red Sun. Do I reconcile that? Is that the real Superman? No, it's a variation. And I think here, does it matter? They take what they love and they can incorporate it or not.
But again, what this puts on the table is something that 2 days ago I wouldn't thought was on the table.
I agree with you.
Which is just the wholesale bringing of that over into Marvel. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to cherry pick. Mm-hmm. But it is absolutely possible now in a reality that they could just say, nope, we're going to pick up the entire Defenders stuff from Netflix and just drop it as is in the MCU. Right. I don't think it's what they're going to do. But 2 days ago, that wasn't possible. I mean, today it's possible.
I'm curious to see, what are they going to do with these shows? Are they going to put them all up at once? Are they only going to put up Daredevil?
Are they going to put them at all?
Or put them at all?
And do they go on Disney Plus? Do they go on Hulu? Do they go?
I think they're going to put them all up, because why not?
But where?
Hulu's a good bet.
Hulu's a great option.
But then again, you know, isn't Logan up on Disney Plus?
I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, and it's R-rated.
Yeah.
I mean, they've certainly been loosening the things since Big Papa Iger left, so I don't know. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? This came out of nowhere and surprised a lot of people, but surprising, yes. But if we think it through to its logical conclusion, it makes sense. Netflix probably doesn't have a lot of use for these shows anymore, get a little bit of coin for it, and Disney starts to bring more and more of Bob Iger's prophecy under the thing and bring them all under the same umbrella. How do you guys feel about this? What do you think this could mean for these characters moving forward? Do they cherry pick what they liked out of the Netflix stuff and replace the other stuff? Or do they wholesale bring everything over? What do you want to see them do? What do you think they're actually going to do? Whatever your guys' thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. Okay, guys, with all that down, let's now move over and start taking your live comments and questions that you guys have been sending in. By the way, guys, if you've got a question or comment that you'd like to send into the show, but you weren't around to watch the show as we were streaming live, but you still have a question you'd like to ask, well, Rob and I do a show called Mailbag a couple of times a week where you can send in questions and we'll answer your questions when we're not live. How do you get a question on Mailbag? It's simple. Go down to the description of this video. You'll see a tip link. Click on that there or enter it in manually at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. You'll be getting your comment or question on Mailbag if we deem your comment or question appropriate to use on our show. And of course, you'll be supporting our channel at the same time. But for now, let's get over to the live questions you guys have been sending in. So, Chris, what have people been asking?
So, Stefan writes in, recommendation to all my European friends who have Disney Plus, The Empty Man released on the service today. It's an excellent horror movie. Go watch it.
Are you familiar with this Empty Man?
I am not. I'm not.
It's also weird to hear about a horror being released on Disney Plus. That's interesting, Stefan.
Well, apparently, too, our friends in the chat here are saying in Europe, Logan is on Disney Plus, but not here in the U.S. So
that's
maybe,
what I thought.
Okay.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense.
The European Disney Plus is much more, horror.
They're much more on it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Stefan, for giving us that. All right. What's next?
Oh, Jesus. Big Leaky Nipples writes in.
Oh, God.
Thank you for that name. What is the name of the place in Canada that can instantly take you to Brazil? The name of that place is Ontario.
Ontario. It is Ontario, but you know what?
Okay,
Actually,
now
that's pretty okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'll give that one the drum shot. Okay, what's next?
Wiley Todd. Holy, this winning time trailer is one of the best I've ever seen in a very long time, baby. Screw Star Wars and Marvel. This is the TV show of the year for me.
Which TV show is that?
Winning Time?
Oh, that's the HBO Lakers.
Oh.
The Lakers show that they're doing. Yeah, apparently a new trailer dropped for it today. I haven't watched the new trailer for it. I saw the original trailer come. Listen, the first trailer sold me on this show.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing, though, is I didn't think the idea of the show sounded very good. And then I saw the first trailer where you got John C. Reilly as Dr. Jerry Buss. I mean, that I couldn't picture it, but then once they put it on, I'm like, okay, this looks good. This show looks wonderful, and I cannot wait to watch it, Wiley Todd. All right, what's next?
Nice. Andy writing in. Peacemaker is the perfect palate cleanser to the following day after the mediocre book of Boba Fett. The only boba I care for are the ones in bubble tea.
That's my wife is so psychotically addicted to boba. It's crazy. Like every day, it's like, where do we go for boba today? But I hate saying it, but you're right. It's been the same for me. It's been like Tuesday night comes around, and where I get either a little bit underwhelmed or have a mildly good time watching a Boba Fett episode. But the next day it's Peacemaker. And I know I can get my juices going again. And I love this last week's episode.
So good.
So fun. I watched it again after I got back from the gym and sat down because she hadn't watched the new episode of Peacemaker yet. So she was watching. So I sat down with her for about 10 minutes and relived some of it again. So good. It is. Peacemaker's the ultimate.
What are you going to do after one more episode?
Yeah, one last episode, and then we gotta wait how long until Moon Knight?
March 30th.
Well, then oh my God, I don't know, man. I don't know. It
You
sucks.
can catch up on the after party.
I gotta get caught up on After Party.
It's
You know
so
what?
good.
I've been meaning to do a rewatch of Battlestar Galactica, so I should get on that. And then there's one or two shows I've been wanting to try out. So
I could loan you my box set of Battlestar Galactica on Blu-ray.
I also have the box set of Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, there
they
you go.
actually sent me the big box with the Cylon figures.
Yep.
And all. They sent
That's
that to me.
a great set, by
It
the way.
is. It's a very good set. All right, what's next?
Raymond Reddington. What did everyone think of Eyes of Tammy Faye?
Okay, I'll tell you what. The performances were out of this world. Performances were out of this world. I thought the movie was good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. I liked it, but the performances. Listen, you got to understand too, because I'm a big theology nut. Like, of course, you guys know I went to seminary and all that kind of stuff. And I used to I used to watch Jim Bakker before I realized he was a total nutbag. But before he went total nutbag, I actually thought he was a pretty good theologian. I actually thought he was a pretty good hermeneutics and a pretty decent Bible teacher. So I would watch some of him sometime. Then he started getting to the point that he became the Jim Bakker that we know today.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought the movies. Did you guys catch Eyes of Tammy Faye?
Yeah,
What
I
do you
mean,
think?
like you said, the performances. Jessica Chastain crushed.
Yeah.
She was so good. But I like you. I mean, I thought that the subject matter, they could have made a more compelling film out of it.
I agree.
thought.
Absolutely.
I agree. All right, what's next?
All right, Arun, the trailer for The Dropout has made me really excited to watch the miniseries premiering on Hulu. The series stars Amanda Seyfried, and it's about one of the biggest pharmaceutical frauds in history. Yes, this trailer looks amazing.
Is it about that woman who
Theranos,
got
yeah.
busted?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even know about this.
She looks great as her too.
Yeah. Which I would
She
be
does
first
the
to
voice,
say,
the lower voice. She does it really
Amanda
well.
Seyfried's not one of my particular favorite actors, but she looks phenomenal in this. She sounds great. She seems just so committed to this role. She's really grown the last few years.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, what's next?
Andy again. Wigwam, do you really want to taste it? John Cena appears. Me. Yes, daddy.
Do you really want to taste that? By the way, another great episode for Eagly. Another great episode for Eagly. All right, what's next?
Plot twisties. Hey, gang. This is one of 4. You've been discussing the demise of physical media a lot lately, and I wanted to chime in. My girlfriend isn't a big fan, as big of a cinephile as I am, so I wanted to introduce her to some of my favorite suspense or crime thrillers. I started her off on some staples like LA Confidential,
Nice.
Seven, The Usual Suspects, which are all easy to find on streaming. But when I wanted to do some deeper cuts like 2001's Frailty, thank you, and Fincher's 1997 The Game, I couldn't find either for the life of me. I had to break out the Blu-rays. This is my major concern with streaming. I subscribed every major service here in Canada, but I fear that once my Blu-ray player dies or my hard drive croaks and can't be replaced, I'm going to lose access to many of the movies I love.
Yeah, and look, that has always been. Now, I'm a digital streaming guy. I actually stopped buying physical media, with a few exceptions here and there, probably about a decade ago. And there's drawbacks to both. There definitely are. And the drawback to obviously digital streaming is you got to hope that it's available somewhere. Now, myself, with the odd rare exception, like for a little while, I couldn't find Megaforce. I know where Megaforce is. Don't laugh. I love Megaforce. But really, for the most part, anything I've wanted to find to watch, I've been able to find to watch, with a very, very few exceptions. The drawback, of course, is though that if like the place where it's available and the people who do it decide to pull it away, then you could be screwed. That's true. But, and I've always made this argument, and people try to argue against me, but I haven't heard a single thing that defeats this. The reality is, other than your car keys, nothing gets misplaced more than discs. Like between when you move, you lend it to friends, you forget where you put it, discs get damaged, discs get scratched. Listen, back when I was still a physical media guy, I can't remember how many times I had to go back out and re-buy DVDs or Blu-rays that I owned because I either misplaced them, they got borrowed, or they got damaged, or something. It happened to everyone.
You know,
I'm getting very uncomfortable.
the Amazing Spider-Man Blu-ray that I bought, it came with a digital copy, and
That's what they started doing that with a lot of discs.
right. But I would watch it, and but they shut down like maybe few months ago, like the Walmart Voodoo service, whatever.
Right.
So I don't have that, but I still have my disc. So I'm not saying I prefer disc over digital because I've grown into digital too, but you still gotta have those cool box sets. I mean, as long as they release those box sets with like a culmination of a bunch of movies, I still agree with that, releasing those.
But for me, like, I've been buying movies online now for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Every one I've ever bought is still right there. Now, it should be important to point out too, when we talk about the demise of physical media, we are not saying, yay, the demise of physical media. No, we're saying, hey, it just is what's happening. It's not a matter of should it happen or shouldn't it happen. It's just that it is what's happening, whether we like it or not. So I know, Rob, as a big physical media guy yourself, that's a reality you face all the time.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been buying physical media. This is now the 42nd year I've been buying physical media in my life, which seems crazy. I do a YouTube show every Sunday at 11 o'clock called Let's Get Physical Media. And we talk about it. Now, for me, here's my problem. Most of cinema history, I think, is going to be lost because I always say that we have a pop culture half-life of about 20 years, meaning that there's a lot of movies in the history of cinema that people just won't watch anymore. And you look at streaming, streaming wants to keep the shows and the movies on that people watch. Well, when was the last time anybody went back, unless you're watching the Criterion Channel, and watched my beloved Antonioni Ennui trilogy from the early 60s, or Jules and Jim, or The 400 Blows, or pick Seven Samurai. Ooh. I just bought the box set of the Shaw Brothers movies from the 70s that Arrow put out. Who's going to watch these? And I think that the reason that I collect physical media is I have a curated collection of what I believe to be the greatest movies ever made. And I will always have them. And if I have to buy, like, I honestly believe you should buy 3 or 4 Blu-ray and 4K players and don't open them. Put them somewhere. I mean, thank God Xbox and PlayStation have extended the life of physical media by at least a decade, because having those players in those machines assures that you'll have them. But the problem is physical media is going to go away. And a lot of these movies that are hard to find. I mean, there's movies that you can't get Aliens in 4K. You can get Alien, but you can't get Aliens in 4K. Why not? It's still the best. It's 4K discs, 4K Atmos discs are way better than streaming because we don't have the pipeline to give us uncompressed images. So,
you know what I found out, figured out too, is that when you watch movies off of a disc, let's say you have a collection, and people come over, you end up watching the movie all the way through. When we start going through the streaming library, I don't feel like watching this, and then you back out and then pick another one. With disc, at least you're like, no, I'm not gonna walk all the way up there and change the disc. We're watching this all the way through.
But
you picked it.
No option is not having the option is a benefit.
I'm just saying. Like sometimes when you get into like just being able to switch to a different movie on the couch, you switch to different movies and you never finish them.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta keep it. We could discuss this all day for sure, but we gotta keep moving. Okay, what's next?
Casey Mack, gotta say that Sonic 2 TV spot was fire. I think this movie will be better than the first one.
You know what? It very well could be.
I think it could be.
Especially once we get now that we know the charm of the characters and all that kind of stuff.
Could it be the Empire Strikes Back of the Sonic franchise?
It could be.
Rob.
It could
Or
be
the Road Warrior?
The Citizen Kane of the Sonic franchise. All right, what's next?
Andy, one of two. John Cena has developed as an actor and showed plenty of emotional range in the latest episode of Peacemaker. Also, there were so many instances where I was nervously wrecked due to how close Vigilante and Eagly came close to death. The post-credit scene in episode 7 was also the best so far.
I gotta say, the post-credit scenes of Peacemaker they're just strange. But
love them.
I can't stop watching it once it starts playing.
This one's so good too with that extra off to the side who just can't handle it.
It's that dude. That dude is so funny.
He's amazing.
Like last week, it was him doing the talking over a body, and doing the press conference thing. I gotta tell you. And look, John Cena is still not a global thespian. He's not. But this episode also showed he is improving. His range is getting a bit wider, and it's good to see. All right, what's next?
Christopher Brickner, how hurt would you be if the Batman 2020 is worse than the Catwoman film?
Oh no! Listen, there's not a lot of films coming out right now that have the look. If Doctor Strange sucks, that sucks that it was bad. If Thor: Love and Thunder sucks, man, that's too bad. I'll be really disappointed if the Batman isn't good because my anticipation level is through the roof right now. Yeah, so a lot, Christopher. The answer,
but I don't think with the IMAX previews, and I don't think it's going to be bad. I think
they have a
Warner
lot
Brothers-
of belief in this, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Big leaguey nipples again. What should you call Canada when it fails at something? You call it Cantada.
No, you call it fiction. Because Canada just wins it everything.
Shots
Canada
fired.
just wins at everything. All right,
Canton is kind of funny, though.
Chris Miner, I am sick and laying in bed and decided to watch stuff for the first time. I started Succession and I'm at season 3. Amazing show so far. And then I watched Princess Bride. Great film. I gotta
listen.
watch that for the first time.
That's the thing. We always talked about this as the pandemic was going on. That as much as everything sucked, if you had to try to find a quote unquote silver lining, one of the silver linings was people were finding and discovering films that they never watched yet. I lost track of how many times people wrote in and said, I just watched Lord of the Rings for the first time, or watched Godfather because now they had some time. And to take advantage of your time while you're laid up, Chris, good on Princess Bride is like an all-time classic, and my wife loves Succession. Very, very good show. Anyway, get better soon, Chris. We hope you have a speedy recovery, man. All right, what's next?
Condiment King, the Black Adam stuff looks amazing.
It does. It looks really sharp. We didn't see a lot of it, but it does look really good right now. All right, what's next?
Andy, that Obi-Wan poster only makes Obi-Wan look more like Jesus, especially when he looks like he's been fasting for 40 days and 40 nights in the desert.
It is so funny. I'll go. Anne's mom is like devoutly Catholic, and so she'll have some of these like booklets and whatever around, and I don't know what saint it is, Ray, but there's one that like every time I look at it, I think it's Obi-Wan Kenobi on the cover. I mean, it totally looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi's an old Jesuit or something. All right, what's next?
C.D. Swift, seems I better get a move and watch these shows before they leave then. Side note, I don't know why, but Rob's gasp cracked me up, man.
Well, I'll tell you this though, like we do not officially know where they're going to go. Like we're assuming it's going to be to Disney somehow, some way, but it might not be. It could be something else. What that other thing could be, I have no idea. But they're going to end up somewhere. Those shows are going to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Once they leave Netflix, they will be somewhere else. But sure, yeah, get on it and try to watch them now while you can. All right, what's next?
Chairman123, love your work. I went to try and follow you on Twitter and show I was blocked. Keep up the good work.
If you've never seen me on Twitter, I don't know why that would be. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. All right, what's next?
John Redcorn, what would you do with Men in Black now? The last one sucked and flopped, and there has been a great MIB since the first one. Chances for an MIB 5?
It's put that franchise to rest.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, when those Sony email leaks came out and we found out that they were seriously looking at doing a 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover, and everybody laughed at first. I remember me and my crew, we thought about it for a bit because we all laughed at it at first too. And then we thought about it for a bit and we were like, okay, yeah, it's a totally stupid idea. But if they did this and this, that could actually, and then suddenly after about 2 weeks, we were like, you know what? No, screw it. We're on board with this. Do this 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover. This could be good. But unless you're going to do something really transformative and really different like that, I don't know, Rob. I say put this franchise to bed. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sometimes, you know what, John? Sometimes less is better. Sometimes.
Sometimes that might be the case here. All right, what's next?
Hero 75. For the first time in my life, my favorite team is playing in the Super Bowl. Let's make it a good one. Go Bengals.
Oh my gosh, another Bengals fan, Ray. You're not going to be the only one cheering, not just you and Cincinnati Barber. It's going to, hey, listen, there's going to be a lot of happiness in my house on Super Bowl Sunday, regardless. Anne loves the Rams, but she also really likes the Bengals because Ray grew up liking the Bengals. So there's going to be happiness in my house.
But we're surrounded by Rams fans. That's the problem.
Dude, my house, my next door neighbor.
Flags everywhere.
They don't have an American flag on their flagpole. It's a Rams flag. Across the street, big banner on since the day we moved in, on their garage front door. This is a Rams house and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, there's like some hardcore.
So when you guys win, are you going to go fight them?
You know what? I will say this. The Rams should win the Super Bowl.
They should win the Super Bowl.
They have all the talent.
But Kansas City should have beat the Bengals.
Yeah, they bought all the talent. I meant they signed all the talent. They should win this. So, but let's go Bengals. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Let's change
Come on,
the narrative.
dude. You know what? Even I'll root for the Bengals if you're not going to throw in the towel.
Same.
No. I'm rooting for the
asking
Bengals.
you,
I'm just saying the Rams should. On paper.
On paper.
Of course, but close only counts.
Let's change the narrative, though. Let's change the narrative.
All right, let's move on. What's next?
Ryan Lohner, Peacemaker's fight with Flag feels a bit different now that we know about his brother.
It totally does. And as a matter of fact, when they do the flashbacks now to the Rick Flag death, that scene feels different to me now that we actually know more about Peacemaker. It actually really does. All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw. Hi, John. Have you seen the clip where Ron Swanson says any dog under 50 pounds
is a cat and cats are pointless. Or what does he say? Useless. But yes, one of the many, many truisms from Ron Swanson.
I mean, Al thinks you share some evil opinions.
Oh my God, Ron. Any dog under 50 pounds is basically a cat. And cats are pointless. It's just, Ron Swanson. Oh, what was the other one? Would you like, what did they say? Do you like a gin or a whiskey? Whiskey, please. Clear alcohols are for women on diets. I'm not an alcohol drinker, so I don't know the in and outs of that. But clear alcohols are for rich women on diets. I don't know what that means. All right, what's next?
Jim X Mafia. Hey, John and crew. DC just released some footage trailer for their movie this year, and it looks awesome. Dr. Fate, Hawkman, Adam, etc. DC spiced things up.
I'm telling you what. Yeah, obviously we talked about it earlier. It looks great. Again, I said it earlier. I'll say it again. That one little preview spot did more to get me excited for these movies than all of DC fandom did. I am totally on board with this. This thing looked great. All right, what's next?
Andy, crossover Moonfall and Blacklight. Call it Moonlight. The moon kidnaps Liam Neeson's family. Neeson threatens the moon on the phone, and now he must fight it. What do you think, Ray?
I could see, Ray me down for that one. Watching Liam Neeson punch the moon.
Oh, yeah, but if Liam Neeson was the moon, it would be better.
Oh.
Lee Moon Neeson.
The moon. What is the guy? What's his name?
Look, man, if Kurt Russell can play Ego, the Living Planet,
That's true.
Liam Neeson can play the damn moon.
What's the first name? Schneider, the comedy actor.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. Ryan Schneider.
Rob
is
Schneider is a carrot.
Liam Neeson is the moon. Derp. I can totally see it. I'm down for it.
They're like, when does it come out? Who cares? You'll watch it.
You'll watch. Damn right, you'll watch it. All right, what's next?
Sam Ash, what's your favorite Super Bowl ad? Mine is the puppy and the horse from Budweiser. Oh, it's cute. Makes me emotional every time.
Well, I can't answer. We haven't watched the Super Bowl yet. I haven't seen. But right now, the one that's really on my radar because they've already put it online is the Paul Rudd. Why am I freezing? And Seth Rogen, Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen Doritos commercial.
Right.
That's really good. But we'll see what the other ads are. All right, what's next?
Federico Jordan, please ask Rob if he was able to change into dry clothes after seeing Moon Knight on the cover of Empire. Also, as I'm writing this, the DC movie trailer for 2020 gave me chills.
It does. And all I know is a few minutes before we started the show, I'm sitting here and Rob's in his chair and I just hear, oh my God. I'm like, what? And I go over and he turns his phone around and shows me that Moon Knight cover. What do you think about it, Rob?
Dude, between the DC compilation trailer and the Moon Knight trailer, I've been stewing in my own juices since the show began. That's all I'm saying.
All right, what's next?
Suthius, Mern's butterfly scene equals saddest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
Why was that so emotional?
When Hardcore is like holding him in her hand, I'm like, what?
It was this moment, and I was just like, whoa.
It's like, this is ridiculous. Why do I feel emotional? This is so ridiculous. But yeah, they did that great.
Because I'm a geriatric, right? I wake up at 5 a.m. to watch these, and you should not be crying over that at 5:30 in the morning. Just
shouldn't be crying over it at all, but we do. All right, what's next?
Hey, Marcellus, Sony sent me a voucher for a free ticket for Uncharted because I bought the PS5 Legacy Collection during the promotional period. I'm having second thoughts.
Might have to return my free ticket. Listen, I don't know. Look, it's not sounding terrible. That's the thing. Throughout most of the reviews that we read, very few of them are saying this is an awful movie. They're just like, yeah, not so good. And the ones who like it are saying, it's pretty good. it's kind of middling. So I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, what's next?
Empire Fan 1980. Watched Encanto for the first time. Man, it's so good. Hot take, Don't Talk About Bruno is really good, but Surface Pressure is the best song.
That's the one with the older sister, is it not? That is a great song. And she's like talking about the responsibilities and all that kind of stuff. That is really good. I mean, why we don't talk about Bruno, which is awesome. I love that song. But why it suddenly caught on like fire when a couple of the other ones didn't, I'm not really sure, but there are a lot of good musical numbers in there. All right, what's next?
John Redcorn, what do you guys think we'll see in Moonfall 2, and where should the story go next? Oh, wait, never mind. Well, story in Moonfall 2.
Yeah, so the Moon's Revenge. Ray, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. The folks over at the studio contact you, say, Ray, we need an idea for Moonfall 2. What do we do?
Based off the first Moonfall?
Yeah,
or can it just be a reboot already?
Either or.
It just, for some reason, the moon starts falling towards Earth. That's it. That's all. That's all. There needs to be nothing behind it. Let's just see it. And let's just see how people react. And let's just see the destruction. It could be 15-minute movie.
15-minute movie.
It will be the movie that plays in the intermission of the Batman. You know, right in between there. So you could.
And now during this intermission, we present to you Moonfall 2.
Well, whatever. I just wanted better effects, and I just wanted better effects in Moonfall than we got, because that's what I went there to go see. So,
all right, what's next?
PMAC, the Rock video game movie live action Wreck-It Ralph. Yes.
Oh,
that's his movie.
Because you're making up the Rock. The Rock said, "Hey, Wreck-It Ralph, the video game movie." Remember, they actually turned Wreck-It Ralph into a video game after the movie came out. We played it. It was actually kind of fun. But who knows, Payback? Maybe that's it. All right, what's next?
Matt, anybody on the show ever watched Everybody Hates Chris? Ahead of its time for sure, and adult humor.
I never did. I mean, it lasted a number of seasons, didn't it?
I watched a few episodes.
It's supposed to be about young Chris Rock, and Chris Rock narrates it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Chris Rock, I got Rob to watch the first 2 episodes of The Office yesterday.
Oh.
And of course, the second episode is diversity training. Yes. And the Michael Scott, Chris Rock thing. And I remember Rob watching it, and at one point Rob saying, "This is really uncomfortable." I'm like, that's exactly the whole show. The whole show will always make you feel uncomfortable.
Plus, I love that Chris Rock comedy special. I can probably recite it. I mean, I can't recite it. That's the thing. I can't.
We cannot recite it, yes.
That's why I'm watching it. I was just going, oh, no.
That diversity, I forgot how good that particular episode was. Okay, what's next?
Josie Reviews. Marry Me was cute enough. I cried. Blacklight would have been a lot more entertaining if we had a black light in Liam Neeson's bedroom for 105 minutes.
I can't bring myself. But you know what? Here's a funny thing. I'm hearing half decent things about Marry Me. Actually, you know what? Let me bring it up. Let me look at it a second. Marry Me Rotten. My heart's gonna break if it's got better critic reviews than
I've
Uncharted.
read some of the best reviews of Marry Me that they're unbelievable.
Almost 60%. Almost 60%. Marry Me's got it's at 59% right now.
By the way, you know that's a comic book adaptation too.
Marry Me?
It's based on a graphic novel.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Is that really true?
Yes, it is.
All right. Okay, what's next?
Yeah.
Scott D, The King's Daughter mermaid movie with Pierce Brosnan, released 1/21, originally to be released April 2015. Now in theaters and made 1.7 million total.
I have never heard of this situation like this. The King's Daughter, Pierce Brosnan. It was a movie that was 6 or 7 years old and is just now being released in theaters. And listen, whatever it makes, after 6 or 7 years, that's just found money.
Yeah.
They could have made $160, and that would be $160 they didn't have before. So they would have had $1 million something less dollars before than this. But I have never heard, like, the last movie I remember that had a really long gestation period between when it was finished and in the can to when it actually came out was the Chris Hemsworth version of Red Dawn. Because I think that movie was like done 4 years.
But then they had to change it.
Yes.
They had
changed
to.
a bunch of-
They no longer were the Chinese the villains. It had to become North Korea.
North Koreans, that's right.
Which is crazy, considering the first Red Dawn was about the Russians and the Cubans. They didn't have to change that because we're in the middle of
but even then it was done and it sat in like years and years and years, and then it came out. But yes, the King's Daughter thing is a really weird situation. All right, what's next?
Stephen Wolf. Hi, crew. Did you see the Fandango interview with the Batman cast? It has great insights into the making of the movie, and it was 30 minutes long.
I have not, but I did hear that in one of the big interviews that they just did, they just spent a little bit gushing on Spider-Man No Way Home. They were just talking about how great Spider-Man No Way Home.
Cute.
Colin Farrell was saying, I loved Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and blah, blah. They were just going on about it, which is great because they know rising tide raises all ships. If your movies are good, but they just watched Poetic about how much they liked it. But I haven't seen that one in particular yet, but I will look out for it. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher. Is Miguel O'Hara going to be in this Blade Runner show? That's wonderful.
I'm not going to lie. That's going over my head.
Oh, Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I was gonna say Across the Spider-Verse
Yeah.
Of course.
crosses over with the Blade Runner verse.
Okay, that's funny, Sam. That's funny. All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw. Campea and Harloff Manscaped collab ad for Super Bowl?
I think Harloff is also being sponsored by Manscaped, so I don't know. Maybe me and Harloff might have to do a collab on one and do a joint ad that
I
we
would
put on
actually
both
pay
channels.
money to see that ad.
That could be funny. That could be fun. All right, what's next?
Brandon Blake. I like Peacemaker more than the Suicide Squad, and I liked that movie a good bit. Been watching for years, and the show has never been better, John.
Oh, thank you so much, Brandon. Listen, I'm going to go on a limb with you. I loved Suicide Squad. James Gunn's Suicide Squad, I thought it was fantastic. This show's better. I mean, this show is great. I'm not saying it's my top 5 favorite show of all time, but it is wonderful. I'm digging this show a lot. You got to watch the latest episode, man.
Dude, I will this weekend. I can't wait.
All right, what's
I can't
next?
wait.
Mighty Tank 1. My favorite dumb Austin Powers joke is when they play blackjack and he stays on a 5. LOL. Also, Robert Wagner is RMB's twin.
It's also an old joke now, but when it first got said, I think it was in Austin Powers 2 when Beyonce was in it. And it's an old joke now, but I had never heard it at the time. When Mini-Me I think it's Austin Powers, Mini-Me, and the Beyonce character. And I think they were talking about heritage. And he says to her, do you have a little clone in you? And she's like, no. Would you like one? And I remember that's a joke that's been done a lot ever since, but I remember that was the first time I heard that joke going, oh my God, I can't believe they just did that. All right, what's next?
Mickey. For whatever reason that Marvel shows are being removed from Netflix, I'm just hoping we can get a new season of Daredevil.
In whether it's a new season, a new movie, whatever, I mean, obviously they're going to be doing something. We already know he's coming back. Well, I won't say anything else. All right, what's next?
Art Vandelay. I like the DC teaser, but I can't help it. Every time I see Ezra in The Flash, it makes me uneasy. Keaton is the only reason I'm looking forward to Flash.
Well, there's a number of reasons why Ezra Miller makes me uneasy, but that doesn't change the fact that I really like his iteration of Flash. I really do. I think he plays a really cool Barry. I like the way he plays it. I like some of the quirkiness he brings to the Barry character. And I even like the way he runs. Mm-hmm. Now, I said this on the show the other day. I've read so many people going, oh, because he does that really weird kind of run. It's like, that's not how you run fast. To which I want to say, oh, really? Show me footage of how somebody who runs faster than the speed of sound runs. Yeah. Oh, they don't? So if you run the proper way, you can only max out at like, what, 9 miles an hour? I don't know what the top speed is. So he figured out maybe that is the way. But yeah, look, again, Ezra as a guy is starting to bug me out a little bit. But that aside, I don't care. I like his Barry, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play the role, and it's going to be interesting to see. All right, what's next?
Suthius. Okay, Mr. C. After first week of the Winter Games, Canada is up 2 in medal counts, 12 to 10. However, we have 4 gold medals compared to y'all's only 1.
Okay, yeah, I do also want to point out that our beloved brothers living in the United States, I live in the United States right now, you have 10 times the population. So for every one athlete we have, you have 10 potential people to do it. You should have 10 times the amount of medals we have. I'm just going to say that. By strict population base, you should have 10 times the amount of medals that we have. But
yeah. we also have 10 times the amount of marijuana you guys have. So sometimes the medal just doesn't mean anything to me,
just
baby.
Makes it good.
I just want to have a good time. It's cold.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know.
Canada's a big place.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They have a lot of agriculture up
I know
there.
there's a lot of farm up there.
The Canadian bobsled team brings 2 trucks over. One truck with the bobsled, the other truck filled with Labatt's Blue and Molson Canadian beer. I mean, so we also probably drink a lot more beer. I'm the one Canadian that doesn't, but yeah, there's that. All right.
Okay.
What's
Deshaun?
next?
Would be an interesting move for Disney to add a bunch of better Marvel shows to their service after just getting started on their own.
Are they better shows, though? I mean, when we think about the Marvel Netflix shows, we think about Daredevil. Mm-hmm. Great. Luke Cage.
It was
Iron
pretty good,
Fist.
though. I like Luke
Iron
Cage.
Fist was so
I
bad.
like the first half of the first season.
Mm-hmm.
The first half of the first season of Luke Cage with Cottonmouth was really good. It went downhill after that. And then season 2 never found its footing.
Yeah.
And then Iron Fist was just Iron Fist for both seasons of Iron Fist. Y'all didn't like season 2 of Jessica Jones.
No.
I didn't like season 1, but a lot of people did like it. Now, I'm also a big fan of Punisher, but I think there's a little bit of rose-colored glasses wearing when people think back to the Marvel Netflix shows, because we think of Daredevil, and that was awesome. They weren't all awesome. And even Defenders, which I like Defenders. Defenders got kind of a mixed response.
Wasn't great.
And it's just, they were, listen, I'll say it straight up. Marvel's Netflix shows were hit and miss. Some of them were great. Some of them were terrible. But this whole rose-colored glasses about, oh man, the Netflix Marvel shows were so great. Were they? Were they? A couple of them were, but I don't know. We rewrite history in our own minds a little bit. All right, what's next?
James Germain. The after credits of a Boba Fett made me feel like Eowyn in Lord of the Rings Return of the King. You will not touch him. Or Michael in The Office with the return of Toby. No. God, please, no. 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 No.
I didn't mind the post-credit. I didn't mind the post-credit. I mean, because I like the character, so I'm glad he's still alive. And they implied he was still alive in the previous episode. They didn't say he was dead in the previous episode. I mean, why the townsfolk said they killed him when they knew he was alive. I mean, I don't know what the deal with that is. But yeah, I liked it.
I just liked someone called him RoboCop.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what they were about to turn him into, is RoboCop. Either way, you're coming with, or dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Right.
I mean, I want to hear Cobb Vanth say that now. All right, what's next?
Power is power. Boba looking into the pit somehow feels even more stupid than Geppetto searching in the damn ocean for Pinocchio. Natural selection should have killed both.
Well, that's our comment of the day. Goes to power. I like that. Well said, man. All right, what's next?
Jay Jitry, hey John, at AMC, there is a difference between, at AMC, is there a difference between Dolby and Dolby Prime? You've said that Dolby Prime is your favorite experience, but at my local AMC, I've only ever seen showtimes for Dolby, no Prime.
All right, so when I was still at AMC, the Prime theaters were the Dolby theaters. The Prime theaters were the motorized reclining seats with the Dolby Atmos sound system and the Dolby dual laser projection system. That's what Prime was. They started to differentiate them a bit. So now they have Dolby at Prime and they have Prime. A Prime theater, if I understand it right, because in my AMC, like at the AMC Burbank 16 and at the AMC Tyler, they have a Dolby at Prime and they have Prime. The Prime looks like the Dolby at Prime. It's got the motorized leather reclining seats, but I do not think it has the Dolby dual laser projection system. Whereas the Dolby at Prime does have it. So it gets messed up. Yeah, there's a differentiator there.
The difference is, okay, from what I understand, Dolby, the company, helped design the systems that go into the Dolby Prime experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whereas, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Stereo has been in theaters for decades. Whereas Dolby Prime, they worked with AMC to create these auditoriums with a specific experience that you can get nowhere else.
Right.
That's what AMC did.
But if you just walk into one and just walk into another and look around, they look the same. Like the screen, whatever. But yeah, I still remember we were at CinemaCon when they did the presentation for the first time for Dolby AMC. And you see it now, and they do a pre-show of it. They still play the same pre-show. But it's like there's this pitch black screen, and then all of a sudden these words appear. Yes, the projector is still on. We had never seen anything like that before.
That's
the
amazing.
Deepest blacks, the richest colors ever. So if you have a choice between just a Prime theater or the Dolby at Prime, go for the Dolby at Prime. You'll still have a great time watching it in the regular Prime theater.
Sure.
Super comfortable, wonderful film experience. But yeah, all right, what's next?
All right. From Suthius. You know what? I wouldn't mind at all if Mando is the connective tissue between most of these upcoming Star Wars shows. The Nick Fury, if you will.
Yeah, I agree. But Nick Fury never becomes the focus of the show. Nick Fury never becomes the focus of the movie. And so if you want to treat Mando that way, I'm all for it. But just don't kick the main character out of the show for 2 episodes and focus just on that. That's the only caveat to that. All right, what's next?
Elizabeth Dorado. Right when I've started rewatching the Marvel Netflix Universe TV shows, they're taking them away? Hope they're going to Disney Plus or maybe Hulu.
Or maybe somebody else. Either way, Elizabeth, they are going to be around. I mean, of that, we all feel 1,000% certain. You're going to be able to watch them somewhere. But yeah, do try to get them while they're still there on Netflix. By the way, I was reminded that Elizabeth Dorado's last name is actually pronounced Gerardo.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Elizabeth.
So I remember she brought that up once, and I totally forgot about it. As I do, we read a lot of names. I'm always going to butcher them, so you guys got to forgive me when we do. But thank you for writing that in, Elizabeth. All right, what's next?
Tim Plate. I'm grateful that pretty much all the Best Picture nominees are going to be streaming before the Oscars. I recently had health complications due to COVID, so I may be more picky about when I go see the movies than I used to be.
That makes sense, Tim, and that's so. Now, one of the things. Again, I have a love-hate relationship with AMC theaters. I used to work with them, but they are my favorite movie theater chain. And one of the coolest things that AMC has always done is they have their Oscar showcase, where they take a couple of days and they will play all the Oscar-nominated Best Picture films. And if you had never had a chance to see one of those Best Picture nominee films on the big screen, then before the Oscars, you get the chance to do it. Now, I know they were still doing it before. I hope they're still doing it now because, they weren't open when the last Academy Awards came out. I don't think the theaters were open, but at any rate, it's one of their better programs. So if you get a chance to see them on the big screen, do. But obviously, Tim, listen, you make choices that are good for you. And if that's the choice you make for yourself, I encourage it. And I'm glad you're going to have the opportunity to see them regardless, man. So stay safe and enjoy those films, dude. All right, what's next?
Michael Brandy. Bigger. Why do they always have to go bigger? Love Jeff Goldblum. I stand beside Lost World because of Jeff, except for the San Diego part. Excited for Jurassic World Dominion.
I am too. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I know I'm not in the vast majority here. I've liked the Jurassic World movies.
I have to.
I quite like the first one. I really like the last one. Again, I'm not pretending they're on the same level as the original Jurassic Park. They're not. But I liked the last Jurassic World movie better than I liked any of the other Jurassic Park movies, other than the first one, which is still great.
I've enjoyed them all. I mean, look, it's dinosaurs rampaging. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not looking for ordinary people or Out of Africa or Amadeus when I'm watching a Jurassic Park movie.
You don't want a raptor just being like, he's writing it again. Yeah. He's writing Couplet.
I mean, in terms of like the first Jurassic World movie, you know, it was kind of a retread of the original, but I watched it. I was enjoying it. I mean, I thought it was fun. The effects technology's increased.
Yeah.
And Chris Pratt. Come on. Like, I think if they replace Chris Pratt with someone else,
And I
may not like it
so
as much
Jessica,
as,
you know, I mean, Jessica Chastain. No, I was
Bryce
thinking
Dallas-
Bryce Dallas Howard. But I don't understand, like,
They were in
what...
the help together. I can understand confusion.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, but I think that this movie, in terms of a trailer, just the trailer, the imagery in this film is exactly what I want from a dinosaur movie.
Yeah.
Snow on the back of the brontosaurus. Come on.
That brontosaurus is so cute.
It's adorable.
Wild horses running with wild
the horses.
raptors.
It's so
Beautiful.
good. All right, what's next?
Daniel Luna bought tickets for the Batman for 3.4 on IMAX,
Nice.
5 Dolby Cinema, and 3.6 IMAX again.
Wow.
I can't wait for this movie. 9 hours of my life I probably will regret or won't. Hope you guys have a good day today.
I know what Ray is thinking right now, because this was the Spider-Man thing too. People writing in when Spider-Man was coming, saying probably these things like Ray's like, I hope you like the movie, because he just bought like 5 tickets to different showtimes. I hope you like it. I mean, look, every movie could be the best picture of the year. Every movie could be the worst movie of the year. We don't know, but I think we've got a lot of reason to be optimistic about this Batman one. I really do. All right, what's next?
Empire Fan 1980. Did you know there is a GPG PG-13 NC-17 version of Mrs. Doubtfire?
I did not know that.
What? Why?
I-
Why did they make those?
How on earth do you even have an N17?
I know there's an R-rated and PG version of Saturday Night Fever,
Yeah.
which I can understand, but Mrs.
makes sense.
But an
Doubtfire?
NC-17?
Are you sure it's called Mrs. Doubtfire? It wasn't something else?
I think you watched something else, Empire Fan.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you sure you didn't watch the parody version? Wink,
Yeah,
wink,
like
nudge, nudge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
NC-17,
I was
that's
going to
hot.
say something, but filter between brain
Yeah,
and mouth.
I was going to
kicking
too.
in.
I didn't say the
Well done,
name. It was in my
everybody.
mind.
All
I
right,
didn't
what's
do
next?
that.
Sam Automatic. Boba Fett. I rule by respect, not fear. Except he has Fennec do his dirty work. To me, that assassination scene just cemented that he is full of BS.
Well, no, but remember this though. He was betrayed. Mm-hmm. They betrayed him. He walked in there saying, "Let's work together. Let's become rich together. Let's respect one another." Blah blah. All I ask from you guys, don't turn on me when these guys come. Just stay neutral. And they promised him they would. And then they tried to kill him. Once you do that, I'm sorry, you backstab Boba Fett, your life's forfeit.
As Michael Corleone would say, you do business with me, I will do business with you.
Yep. And
that's
that Fennec scene at the end, that was Michael Corleone saying, "Today we settle family accounts." We
Yeah,
settle
they
all
brought
family
that on
accounts.
themselves.
They did. Absolutely. I mean, so Boba, with all the complaints we have about Boba Fett, him calling them to account for how they betrayed him and tried to kill everybody. Yeah, no, they had it coming, man. They had it coming. All right, what's next?
Oh, in the chat, the NC-17 is potentially because of Robin Williams' improv for
Oh,
Doubtfire.
well, you know what? Robin Williams could go, could go pretty blue.
That makes
so.
sense. Thanks,
all right, what's
Logan.
next?
Thanks, babe. All right, Mufasa. They should change the intro in Star Wars to a long time ago in Tatooine, far, far away.
Listen, it's all been about Tatooine. The center, if there's a bright spot, and this is the planet furthest from it. Yeah, apparently not. Apparently everything happens on Tatooine, and we're getting ready to go back to Tatooine. Obi-Wan,
Man, let's go back to space for a minute.
more desert. And you know what? They love Tatooine so much that even when Mando wasn't on Tatooine, they had to give him another planet just like Tatooine. With his own jaws. Oh, but these jaws are different. Their
Double
eyes
down,
glow
baby.
a different color. I mean, they really love Tatooine there. Hey, listen. When you're shooting on what's the stage sound?
The volume,
when you're shooting on the volume, just having desert at the background makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it does.
Makes it a lot easier.
That's why everyone walks everywhere.
Let's do desert. Yeah, that's why everybody walks everywhere. Okay, what's next?
David Allman, one of two. With the inclusion of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in the MCU, that gets me thinking. With the references to the SR and MW iterations, Spider-Man 2002 in a way retcons I Am 2008.
By the way, let me just pause right there. I've lost the fuck what it is we're talking about.
Yeah.
Here. With the references to SR and MW, and guys, please don't write in acronyms. What are we talking about? With the references to SR?
David.
I'd have to hear the rest of the context of the
The
question.
first movie in the MCU. Oh, wait. Let's see here. in a way, retcons Iron Man. There we go, Iron Man as the first movie in the MCU in terms of release years. Obviously, it's not officially the first one. In a way, it is.
No, I still don't know what we're talking about with SRM. Anyway, no, it's
Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
And
So
then
there we go.
the other one must be another director.
Webb. With Webb.
Mark Webb.
Mark Webb.
Sam Raimi. And Mark
Okay,
Webb.
there we go. Guys, please do not write an acronym.
I love it. I love it. It's like a game.
The first movies in the well,
No, they're not. Those things are not canonized. Let's be clear about that. By the way, we don't even know for sure that version of Peter Parker and that version of Peter Parker are specifically the ones we saw in movies back in 2002. Whatever.
but also wait, if they're saying those are the first MCU movies,
Yeah.
No, if they're in the MCU now, does that make the Spider-Man movie the first MCU movie?
Yeah,
instead of Iron
no,
Man?
because Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s.
No, but as far as when the movie came out, that
Yeah.
would be the first movie that came out.
if they're
Right.
part of the MCU,
Theoretically, if those Sony movies were now MCU movies, then they're the first MCU movies.
Nah, because I would say the MCU movies is a specific universe.
I
Those,
agree.
Those adjunct things.
Yeah,
it's
and
not
they're-
our universe.
They're not really canon. I mean, it's an interesting.
I mean,
question.
they're canon, but they're not. They're from a different place.
Right.
You know.
All right. What's next?
A. Marcellus, one of two.
By the way, I lost my place.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, there we go. A. Marcells.
I don't know what Lucasfilm plans are for stories after Rise of Skywalker, but I hope they go far 100 years. Force these creators to not rely on the past and use new original stories. But they can use Grogu. It's acceptable because he can live for hundreds of years. He can stay with Din until he dies and then move on to Jedi stuff much later in life. The next Grand Master.
Listen, A. Marcells, I am so on board with that. I've been saying that for a long time. Like the next movies you do, either go way into the past or way into the future. Far enough that there's not direct connective tissue or much direct, because I've always said this about Star Wars. If you go far enough in the past, you can do anything you want because it's so far removed from the existing Star Wars canon that nothing you do 1,000 years in the past is really going to break the movie canon that we've had. You are totally free, no handcuffs to do whatever you want. And if you skip ahead, then again, you're totally free to do whatever you
but
want.
do you want to do that?
Yes.
Skip ahead?
Yes. I'll take Old Republic
Because
too.
those Vespas are going to get upgraded.
And they're much
And
faster
they are
than
going to be super fast.
They're
It's going to be
souped up,
Tokyo
ready to
Drift.
go. But I'm totally good with going back to Old Republic, which is what Benioff and Weiss were going to do. And I was like, shit, I really wanted to see that. Or jump ahead 10 years, 20 years, whatever. But yeah, do something new. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher. I heard that the first 2 Rings of Power episodes will be combined 3 hours and act as a prequel in the First Age. Can you confirm this?
I can confirm nothing because I don't know anybody at Amazon telling me that stuff. But
I've never read that anywhere.
But what if they were? Let's just say they
okay,
were.
for argument's sake,
Yeah.
glorious.
Yeah, that's cool.
That'd be fun.
If we are actually going to get short movie length episodes,
Oh my God.
damn right, man. I mean, this
We would
staying
have
up
to-
for midnight to watch a 32-minute episode, that can get old really
We
fast.
would have
Yeah.
to create a separate show just to review those shows.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'd be so good. All right, what's next?
Orange Grove 55. Disney just had an incredible quarter one, on all fronts, exceeding expectations. Thanks to Chapek or residual Iger. Thank you, John.
Well, I mean, exceeding. We all said though when they initially did their initial projections, everybody in the industry said they're lowballing. They're lowballing. Look, a lot of what's happening, like for instance, a lot of people say Disney stock has gone up 11% since Bob Chapek. Well, that's because of pandemic recovery. Like things were crashing when he took over. So like, yeah, it's like saying, well, John can run, X number of miles faster now since last month. And now that this guy's coaching him, yeah, but last month I had a twisted ankle. So of course I'm running faster now. So no, they're in recovery mode. They're coming back, stuff like that. Thanks to Chapek, absolutely not. All right, what's next?
All right. I am awesome 418. Hey, crew.
Is there Hero? Did we do Hero already?
Oh, golly, I didn't. No, sorry. Hero 75. We have all seen movies leaked from toys.
Yes.
I always wondered, do toy companies get set photos, concept art, or something else when they make movie toys?
Absolutely, they do. Look, I'll tell you this. I can tell you a little bit now, but I won't go into specifics. When Anne started working for Hasbro, in her very first month working for Hasbro, she was put in charge of the Star Wars line. And as a result, she had to fly to Lucasfilm. And this was prior to The Force Awakens. And while Anne never told me a thing she did call me and say, you should see what I'm seeing. She got to walk into rooms and see full storyboards and all that kind of stuff of everything. Like, she knew that movie way before anybody else does. And you might be saying to yourself, well, John, how come some of your predictions for The Force Awakens never happened? Because she never told me shit. Yeah. she's
the best for doing that.
She is the best for doing that. Except for Christmas presents, she can never keep herself from telling me what she got me for Christmas. So it'll be like mid-November. I went shopping for your Christmas present today, but you can't ask me what it was, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, baby. Because I got you something you're really going to like. I can't wait, honey. But you can't ask me what it is. All right. Okay, I'm just going to give you your Christmas present now. So, like, other than that, she can totally keep her lips sealed for stuff like that. So, but yes, the toy companies are given, like, full access to, like, everything.
Yeah, and it's also the studios on franchise properties are given style guides. They create for toy companies. There's artwork style guides, like you have to use this, you have to use the logos like this. I mean, it's done way in advance because there's a long lead time. You have to manufacture toys overseas. They have to be made a year in advance. That's why there's always Marvel action figures out on the shelves months before. Like, you can get Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness toys now. You can buy them now. And it's because it takes a very long time.
Very long time to process the like huge process. And of course, like, my wife Anne, so proud of her. Like, she went from working for Hasbro. Well, first of all, she went from working for a congresswoman as a political field rep, working for Hasbro, like overseeing things like Star Wars and their Disney Princess line. Then she went to Amazon, kind of coordinating the launching of their in physical brick and mortar Amazon grocery stores. Then she went over to Apple, overseeing the launch of iPads and iPhones. And now she just started her new job last week. She's now a director.
Right.
I told her to wear an eye patch and call herself Director Campea. But she is now director of a wonderful company that works exclusively with non-profit charities. And she just started her new job there. I always got to brag on Anne. Anne is just like the best. Oh, yeah. Well, you know that.
Yeah.
Ray knows that.
Queen of the Dash Hounds.
All right. What's next?
Reamer Bulldog. Hey, John, can we get a Peacemaker finale prediction video next Wednesday?
Where are we at? Oh, Raymer Bulldog. Did we skip I Am Awesome 418?
Oh, shoot. Isn't that what I just... Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I Am Awesome 418. Hey, crew, I'm a new Star Wars fan on episode 2, and hearing that Boba Fett wasn't that good is disappointing, so I'm wondering what movie is your favorite?
Return of the Jedi. I think probably 7 out of 10 Star Wars fans will say Empire Strikes Back. I'm a Return of the Jedi. I mean, to me, all 3 of the original trilogy is 1A, and 1B. And I, honestly, in my head, I kind of just think of them as one thing. When I say Star Wars, I mean episodes 4, 5, and 6, the original 3 movies. I'm very much a canon guy. So as much as I hate the prequels, they are absolutely canon. I don't pretend those don't exist, because they are, and I will fight for that, even though I hate the movies desperately. But, I mean, listen, as much as you're hearing a lot of people complaining about Book of Boba Fett, there are also people out there who really quite liked it. So it all depends on who you're listening to. So don't worry. Look, if you're interested in it, watch it, because you may end up being one of the people that didn't like it, but you may also end up as one of the people who did. So I'd say give it a shot, dude. But yes, Return of the Jedi to me is the best movie ever. My favorite movie of all time. All right, what's next?
Reamer Bulldog now. Hey, John, can we get a Peacemaker finale prediction video next Wednesday?
Yes, I think we will do. I think we're going to do. We haven't done it for Peacemaker, but I think we're going to pregame Peacemaker. I think we will do a pregame for Peacemaker next week, because it is the final episode. Now that we have seen the cow, we'll do a little bit of pre-gaming for that. All right, what's next?
Addison, heard you guys talk about Belle a lot. I tried looking at theaters in my area, but couldn't find one. So hopefully it streams soonish. Looks incredible.
Yeah, even where we live, my local theater had one like 4 p.m. showing of it, and then that was it. So not easy to find, but hopefully you'll be able to find it streaming pretty soon. All right, what's next?
Sarah Rose, I enjoyed Book of Boba Fett, but think the criticism of it is valid. I see lots of backlash against fans having any complaints about Star Wars, calling it ungrateful. What are your thoughts on that attitude?
Listen, I am a huge fan.
Me too.
I'm a huge fan. There are very few groups of people who are more fucking annoying than us fans. And I include all of us in that. I'm including me in that. We can be a pretty fucking annoying bunch. We can. I mean, listen, we love it, but it is what we are. And there is also one thing that really, really bothers me, and it really comes out when there's Star Wars stuff, especially. When people do this is so irritating. If there is a show or movie that they love, and then you mention that, oh, I had problems with certain parts, like I didn't like they did this and this and this. If they love the movie, they say you're just nitpicking. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's just a nitpick. Why are you just nitpicking this thing? It's not a nitpick. It's a legitimate problem with the show. For me, if it wasn't for you, that's fine. If it's a show movie they don't like, then they don't call your criticisms nitpicks. They say, oh yeah, that's a big flaw in the movie. But if it's a movie they like, well, then you're just nitpicking. I hate that we do that. It drives, it's almost as infuriating as when if you don't like something that they like, they say you just didn't understand it. You just didn't get it.
Right.
No. We got it. We just didn't work for us. But that is something we fans do, and all of us as fans have these all annoying little things. It's all a part of what we are. But yeah, it drives me crazy. Because listen, I thought the final episode of Boba Fett was one of the better episodes. That's not saying a lot, but I did think it was one of the better episodes, and there's certain things in it that I really did quite like. But there's also a lot of things in it that I thought were really dumb and really stupid. And it annoys me when I get these people, why are you nitpicking this thing to death? Why don't you just enjoy it? That's the other thing. Can I say that? That is another thing that we fans say sometimes that drives me crazy. It's like, whenever I hear somebody say, why can't you just enjoy it? Okay, then I'm just going to say that to you about the films you say you don't like. Well, yeah, but I don't like it because it's not a good movie. To fucking you. So how about just respecting that somebody didn't like, hey, listen, give your opinion, say what you thought, and say it with pride and conviction. But if somebody else says they don't like something, don't pull this bullshit of saying, well, why can't you just enjoy it? Because it was fucking bag of shit. That's why. Anyway, but we as fans, sorry. Gee, John, you sound like somebody who has to hear this like 1,000 times a day. Yes, it gets a little irritating. But listen, I do it too. We all do it. It's a part of us as fandom.
You know, though, here's what I object to, because I get yelled at a lot for my attitude about Star Trek. There are a lot of different great Star Wars stories in different mediums, video games, comics, novels, and then we have movies like Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi. We have what made us all fans, and we've been seeing it, even games like The Force Unleashed. We've seen what great Star Wars is. So it's frustrating when you get Star Wars on the big screen or on TV that is less good than Star Wars stories we've seen in other mediums, like a video game. We wonder, why is it that this Star Wars seems to be all over the place and it's not as focused as other Star Wars stories we've been getting, even the Clone Wars? There's a lot of great Star Wars in the Clone Wars animated series over the course of that, was it 6 years total? Great stuff. And the people that are making Clone Wars, Dave Filoni, is now making a live action Star Wars show. So in our minds, shouldn't we be getting something that's at least as good as overall the Clone Wars has been, or Rebels? And when it's not, you wonder, well, why not? Why did that happen? And I think that's the question. I don't think people are unreasonable to assume that when you have a level of Star Wars that's a level of excellence, that's your baseline.
That's your bar.
Yeah. So when you see it, we wonder to ourselves as fans. I don't think fans are being unreasonable. Sure, I'm a man baby when it comes to Star Trek. And Star Wars kind of too, but I just expect what that baseline is. And I don't think it's asking for a lot to get what the baseline of what good Star Wars should be. And when you have all the resources available to you, it's baffling when it's not.
You see, and then like when you come back, going off Clone Wars, I don't like Clone Wars. I actually don't think Clone Wars is all that good. I think Rebels is the much better Dave Filoni product, but that's just me. But I know a lot of people who really do like Clone Wars. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm so glad you like it. But
even Rebels as a baseline.
Yeah, but even Rebels, and it becomes so there are people who, don't like Rebels. But I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't say to them, why are you nitpicking Rebels? I don't say to them, you just don't get Rebels. No, they just watched the same show I did, and it didn't work for them as well as it worked for me. Cool. But you're right, we all have these baselines, but we just got to learn to accept that other people, the number one problem with fans today is when we make excuses for why other people don't have the same opinions as we do. You like something I didn't like, you're biased. you didn't like what I liked, you didn't get it, or you're a hater, or you're nitpicking. And we got to stop that.
But I would say, though, the scene with the Slave One in the Sarlacc pit and Boba Fett looking for his armor.
Yes.
I think everybody would be in agreement that it doesn't make sense that Boba Fett would have thought both his armor was in the Sarlacc pit, and two, to get the Slave One close enough to the Sarlacc pit where a tentacle could come out. What that means is Boba Fett's dumb. And that's the thing that whether I like it or not, his character is being portrayed as kind of stupid.
Sure, but here's the thing. You and I both have shows and movies and things that we really like, even though we'll say there's a couple of dumb things in it. So somebody can watch that Boba Fett thing, and a lot of people can say, that didn't make sense that he was looking for it in the Sarlacc pit like that. But the scene could still work for them, and they still could have enjoyed it and liked it and whatever.
That could be, but I don't think any normal person, John, any human being.
Okay, no. I'm going to stop you right there. No.
But if you were Boba Fett, or I was,
no. I'm going to stop you right there. Because now you're getting into insulting. If there's fans out there saying like, okay, yeah.
No. I wasn't going to insult
You're saying
no,
they're not a normal human being.
No. I'm saying if anybody was a normal human being and they were in the same situation and they were Boba Fett.
Oh yeah.
I don't think any human being watching the show would be like, well, his armor could be there, or if they were flying, any Star Wars fan who happened to be flying the Slave One in that moment, I don't think any Star Wars fan would ever bring the Slave One down that close to the opening of the Sarlacc pit.
Sure, I agree, but
that's what I mean. I wasn't trying to insult anybody.
Somebody can agree with us on that and still like the scene.
Sure,
like there's a number of things, like for instance in Avengers Endgame, certain scenes that you and I have talked about. It's like that made no sense,
right?
But it was still really a fun scene.
But
I still like.
That's true. I just think that when you're watching the show, you always are thinking to yourself, "Would I do that?" And I think anybody, and it's just when I watch something and when I watch a scene like that, I wonder, why is my favorite fictional character like Boba Fett doing something dumb? and that's where I'm at, where it comes, I'm like, don't move the Slave One that close.
The point is, let people who enjoy something enjoy it. Let people who don't like it have their gripes.
Yeah, that's a totally different issue. I don't begrudge anybody enjoying anything.
No one's gonna change each other's opinion. The only thing that's capable of changing people's opinion is time. That's the only thing. Because over time, people change their minds about things. But other than that, nothing you say is gonna, or nothing someone says is gonna take away my enjoyment of what I saw.
Not.
And vice versa.
I love tough turf.
And I've never understood the need, because I think we're all guilty of this too. I've never understood the need fans have. They feel the need to change somebody's mind. Mm-hmm. You didn't like what I liked? I got to change your mind. You liked what I didn't like? I have to change your mind.
Yeah, see, I don't believe in that. I'm always talking about things that are supposed to be in universe. When I don't like them, it's about the show. It's not about anybody who likes the show.
All right. We've only got a couple of minutes left here, so let's keep rolling here. What's next?
Spencer Nielsen, I am watching through Frasier for the first time, and I love the episode.
That's awesome.
I love the episode where Derek Jacobi as a failed Shakespeare actor. What are some of your favorite guest appearances on a television show?
Oh, I don't know. That's something I couldn't just answer off the top of my head. I would have to.
Timothy Oliphant on the Good Place was really
hilarious. Was a great one.
That was adorable.
It's Timothy Oliphant. It's that was really good. I mean, there have been so many. I would have to think it out. But it's a great question, Spencer. But it's not something I pull
Prince was on
New Girl.
I
love that.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
that was really good.
That was the only episode of that show I ever watched.
But again,
Rob
it's a
Reiner's
good
dad
show.
was great too.
Rob Reiner's but he was kind of a semi-regular.
Yeah.
He was what they call a recurring character. But yeah, that's a great question, but there are lots. All right, what's next?
Sarah Z, love your passion, guys. Rob, where's the best place to look for hot toys and such brands? How to avoid fakes? Thanks for any help and tips. Go Leafs, go.
Go Leafs, go.
Well, I would say domestically, the first place you go to is Sideshow. Sideshow.com, Sideshow Toys. They're the official North American distributor for hot toys. If you want to look overseas in places like Toys Wonderland, also 1/6 Outfitters is another place to go.
And also tell them that Sideshow has the payment plans, which is why you would want to get stuff from them.
Oh, yeah.
They break it down into payment plans where you've paid it off by the time it releases. Where other places, they make you pay for the full amount, right?
Yeah. Or the Toys Wonderland has good payment plans, but
these aren't cheap. These aren't cheap.
No, there is a big investment. All right, what's next?
All right, and we're just ending with some super chats sent in to support us. Giuseppe's Gaming, Irene Jobson, and Mufasa at the top here. They should change the intro into Star Wars to A Long Time Ago and Tattoo Far Away. Oh, we already had that one. That's a
Yeah,
repeat.
and we had a couple repeats on there that came up again.
Yeah.
And guys, with that, that'll do it for today's episode of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show a part of your day. We know you guys can be doing a lot of things. The fact that you chose to come and hang out with us here, that is great. Also, big thank you to all you guys who sent in the live comments and questions. Number one, you gave us great fun things to talk about. Number two, you supported this channel as you did it. So all of us here at the John Campea Show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Once again, I'm going to remind you that up on the channel right now is the very first episode to the John Campea channel of the Designing Hollywood podcast. It's up there right now. Rob talking to some of the creators, the production designer, the costume designer, the cinematographer of the Academy Award nominated film Nightmare Alley. Go and check that out now, and make sure you keep your guys' eyes open for future episodes as well. But for now, guys, that'll do it for us for today's episode of the John Campea Show. Have a fantastic weekend. So for myself, Rob, Ray, Chris, all of us here, to all of you, have a great one. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.